What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story, and returned 10 years later as the leader of a hidden nation. If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. The newly built Hokage Tower rises above the rest of my young village. Well, not that it's really young, but you know what I mean, it's all fresh and unpainted. In a way, its newness could be blamed on me. I couldn't get to the village fast enough to save the buildings. Excuse my timing or whatever. At least the people were all safe in the end, right? Though, now that I'm thinking about it, even the villagers are acting younger and darting around like a weight has been lifted. Apparently, the will of fire finally got through to ninjas and citizens alike. It's almost like there isn't any stigma attached to the village's past anymore. Maybe that's true? Look at me, using words like stigma. I think I'm hanging out with Shikamaru and Sakura too much. I even read another book. And I liked it. It blows my mind. But right now, I have no time to waste on reading pervy sages Icha books, none at all. I've finally gotten my chance, and I'm not ruining it by pulling a Kakashi. So, I worked myself into a quick pace, my excitement getting to me. Everyone's heard the news, so I receive enough praises and pats to leave both my cheeks and my back red. The glow remains until I notice a particularly large group of Anbu posted along the rooftops a few blocks away. A ladder is raised, and a few guards begin to climb. Another dark figure, not an Anbu, struggles to climb the ladder while they are yanked by heavy-looking chains. Now that the figure is at the top, I can just make out that they have handcuffs and chakra suppressors all up their forearms. And if that isn't harsh enough, two guards pull on their chains while another blindfolds them with a headband. A prisoner. It's injustices like that that just piss me off and make me want to become Hokage even more. And finally, that dream is within walking distance. Making my way down the curved hall leading to the meeting room, I let my nerves slow me down. Wait, the great Uzumaki, nervous? No, I'm just trembling with anticipation, that's all. Alright, I don't really have the same expectations about being Hokage that I did when I was a kid. I know it's way harder, but this is my dream we're talking about. Now, it's not a matter of being the best and having everyone finally acknowledge me. That's been done. Even though Konoha has healed and improved so much in such a short time, it's still not what I believe it can be. I need to be Hokage to make my promises happen, not just for the people in Konoha, but for all of the other ninja I met and fought alongside during the war. Hopefully, the meeting can stay on points like that instead of other things I'd rather not talk about. The last thing I need is for the old geezers to pretend to be deaf to me and say some shit about me still being a child. I'm 18. I mean, Gaara was even younger when he became Case Cage and was Commander General of the Joint Shinobi Army. I'm never going to be as level-headed as Gaara is now, but that's always worked to my advantage, anyway. The guards outside the meeting hall have familiar faces, and I feel just a little calmer as they smile at me. You'll probably get lucky, Naruto. They're always less grumpy after they've had tea. Katetsu chuckles and pats my shoulder. Konoha's rooting for you, Uzumaki, Azumo adds before the two open the double doors and shove me in. It takes all the self-control I have not to stumble as my sandals sink deep into the tatami mats. A cloud of incense floats past me, revealing the three people I need to convince, the Konoha Council. Take off your sandals, boy, you're getting our tatami dirty, the oldest hag chides me. Her green and red earrings wave with a slight shake of her head. I feel my eye twitch as I bow shallowly in apology, but I obey the orders and kneel down on the dark green cushion given to me. The low table in between us is bare on my half, but littered with various official-looking scrolls and an old tea set on theirs. Utatane-sama, Mitokado-sama, Tsunade. Sama, I let the unfamiliar title for Ba-chan roll off my tongue. Even I can hear the telltale rasp in my voice, the same that I had mostly grown out of, but I don't dare clear my throat. They aren't the type to waste any of the short amount of time they have left, so Mitokado starts reading off of a scroll that I recognize as my record file. Uzumaki Naruto, Chunin, age 18, a former member of the Rokudime's Team 7. Ninja registration number 012607, graduated under Amino Iruka at the Ninja Academy at age 12. The Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi, and now in full control of the demon. Had a large hand in the defeat of Uchiha Madara, Uchiha Obito, and Kagaya during the Fourth Shinobi World War. Defeated Pain and other members of Akatsuki. son of Namikaze Minato and the former Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi, Uzumaki Kushina. He finishes and glances up at me above his green frames like he's asking for me to comment. I simply nod my head to show that I listened to him read off my record like it's a baseball card. You have been recognized as a hero of sorts for this village, Utatane grumbles, but that doesn't guarantee anyone the title of Hokage. Duh, I want to say to her, but it should get me pretty damn close. Maybe I should read off her record to see what, guaranteed, for the title of the official scary grandma of Konoha. Never mind Tsunade, how the hell did Sandame work with these jerks? Naruto, Tsunade's softer voice is a welcome change. We wouldn't have called you here if you had no chance of becoming Hokage. There will be much more involved in this process for you than there has been for years. Why? It's much easier to talk to Tsunade after all these years of calling her an old hag, but that might end up being my downfall here. Wait, what was it she said? A process? I never heard of there being a process for becoming the Hoka. Tsunade interrupts my thoughts like she read them. It hasn't been a process for many years because all but one of the previous Hokages were appointed during a time of distress. The Shodai Hokage, my grandfather, appointed his younger brother during the First Shinobi World War. They were still fighting that war when Naidame passed the title down to Sandame. Many years later, he was defeated by Orochimaru, and I became the Godem. I was going to take too long to recover from the war, so I chose to step down and allow Kakashi to handle the aftermath as the Rokudame. I'm sure she knew I would notice which one was missing. How couldn't I? My father, he was chosen to be the Yondaime after the war, right? I asked, locking eyes with Tsunade to avoid seeing the expressions on the other two. It was a time of relative peace, and there was no rush to instate a new Hokage since Sarutobi-sama still had plenty of years left in him. It was then that he discovered the trials in documents left to future Hokages. These were scrolls written by Shodai himself. In them, he found that a new Hokage wasn't meant to be named until they passed the 13 trials left behind. These are the trials that your father completed to become Hokage, and they are the trials that you have the choice to attempt. So what, is this like the Chunin exams? Am I going to be thrown into the forest of death again or pitted against an army? Or am I going to be running around an arena for everyone's entertainment? Oh shit, I think, as I bite my tongue and bunch the orange fabric of my pants into my fists. Mitokado speaks up finally to deliver this charmer. As profitable as it would be to televise your trials, we have already come to the conclusion that we wouldn't want to risk a camera or a cameraman to record it. Geez. Straighten out your priorities, you'll just have to come back to the village after every trial and come to this meeting room with your assistant to report. Did I mean assistant? I instantly picture Shizune running into Tsunade's office with a huge stack of reports and Tun waddling alongside her. And just like the woman she's assisting, Shizune can read minds, apparently, as she is the next person through the doors behind me. She's followed by Sakura and Shikamaru, of all people. The three of them enter, line up side by side to bow, and take their seats. Shikamaru on my right, Sakura on my left, and Shizune next to Tsunade on the other side of the table. Haruno Sakura, age 18, former. Blah, blah, blah. I know where this is going. Mitokado does the same thing for Sakura and Shikamaru that he did for me. Sakura has been working in the hospital non-stop since her participation in the war, earning herself a high position in the medic nin field. Shikamaru, on the other hand, was constantly being sent out for missions that required his amazing skills as a strategist. Both of them were irreplaceable during and after the war. Once he finished Sakura's spiel, she bowed so deeply it looked like she was imitating a rock. Shikamaru's bow was more of a drawn-out nod. For these qualities and accomplishments, Nara Shikamaru has been chosen by Utatane Kaharu-sama and I, Mitokado Homura, as a candidate for the position of assistant of the Nanadem, he announces, and things start to click. These trials or whatever sound hard, but I'm not going to be alone. And for her qualities and accomplishments, I have chosen Haruno Sakura as a candidate for the position of assistant of the Nanadem. Naruto, both candidates are close friends of yours, but they are both highly qualified for their work. You are now allowed to choose which candidate you wish to have as your assistant. I stare blindly at Tsunade for a second, but I soon snap out of it when I feel a gentle hand placed on top of mine. I turn my head to my left to catch Sakura's little smile. It quickly turns into a silent scream as the doors are brutally snapped open and a dark body is thrown onto the mats behind us. Two masked Anbu march forward to grab the figure and force them into a kneeling position by kicking their legs together and yanking them up by their long mat of dull black hair. Their entire body is dusted by some crumbly white stuff. Hey, they have handcuffs, chakra suppressors, and a headband blindfold. This must be that person I saw with the huge entourage earlier, that prisoner. Well, no matter what they've done, they can't possibly deserve being tossed about like this. I begin to stand up in protest, but one of the Anbu begins to speak. His words are muffled slightly by the long beak on his mask. We've brought the prisoner, as requested. It was a longer trip than intended, we apologize, but we had to drag him across rooftops. We followed your orders, he was never walking in the streets. He didn't complain, at least whoa. A teacup smashes on the wall right behind where the ANBU's head was just a second ago. Tsunade is on her feet, her monstrous fists threatening the two guards. Shizune stands gaping next to her, trying to hold her back with a too gentle hand. You complete morons. If you miss your appointment, don't assume that we aren't busy with something else. He's the last person we want in here. You were supposed to be in and out of here an hour ago. She screamed, and the tension of the room turns into one that's not so official. We apologize, Hokage-sama. The next Anbu, this one masked as a badger, makes himself known, but, if you would please complete the sentencing, it won't be a wasted trip. All you have to do is sentence him to death and we'll be on our way. Death? Who the hell could be bad enough to deserve death? No one, that's who. So, of course, I had to speak up. Yo, Ba-chan, who's this prisoner and what did he do? But now Kaharu begins complaining, fools. It's hard enough to feel safe in the same room as the Jinchuriki, now you want to add the Uchiha to the mix? Wait a fucking second, Uchiha? The table smashes in half from the sheer force of my hands slamming down. I quickly lift myself and spin around to face who might be my best friend on the ground. The Anbu make a quick move towards me, but there's no stopping me. I take the handcuffs in my hands and break the chain with red chakra. I use the same chakra to overload all but two of the chakra suppressors. Soon, I feel the weak signature that I craved to run into years ago. The same signature that was supposed to be in Kumogakure, willingly and freely serving under them for a few years as a repentance for attacking the Eight Tails Jinchuriki and taking the arm of the Raikage. Or so I was told. Though common sense tells me not to, I have to see what's behind the blindfold to be sure it's him. I slow down my frantic movements to untie the familiar headband. I let it fall into the lap of Uchiha Sasuke. His red eyes, dulled by the suppressors but still vivid, show the pattern of the eternal Sharingan and Rinnegan. They could have been keeping him blindfolded for more than a year. He spent a whole year as a prisoner, and not even Tsunade told me about Sasuke's suffering. I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have let him leave. I trusted you assholes. You said he was pardoned. I turned my head to scream at them, then turned back quickly to assess the damage to the once proud Uchiha. Though I should be more careful, I reach behind Sasuke's head and bring his hair forward. It falls in dreads and mats that brush his calloused hands that lay in his lap. Hands? They must have given him an artificial arm like mine. Now, whether it was his choice or not, my eyes travel up, and I see that he's thinning quickly. Even the loose, black shirt can't conceal his protruding ribs and weakening muscles. Naruto? His ragged voice pushes past his chapped lips. Trying to hold back tears of anger, I turn my head once again to look at Tsunade and address the bigger issue at hand. Death? You were going to kill Sasuke behind my back, after all those years it took to get him home? He even helped us at the end of the war, and you three think he deserves death? Guards, put the blindfold back on the Uchiha and move him to the corner. Our current business is more pressing, Kaharu snips, which makes me want to attack her just to wipe that small smirk off her face. I really would have done it, too, if it weren't for Sakura, who's reaching her hand out to lead me quietly to my cushion. If it wasn't already broken, I would have broken the table again, but I did every trick I knew to keep my anger down. I bit my tongue, bunched the fabric of my pants in my fist, and stared right at the one person I knew would give me some answers. Naruto. If we would have completed his sentencing today, we would have claimed that he had died of disease out in his travels. I'm sorry, but it's been decided by the council that his crimes couldn't be pardoned. What he did in the name of revenge and revolution was inexcusable, no matter the ultimate outcome. Tsunade does look torn, tired, and apologetic, which leads me to believe that it was the two wrinkled asses in front of me that were responsible for this whole plan. What the hell did they end up telling Kakashi? Tsunade, he must make his decision now. Time is of the essence, you realize. They need to make it to the inn they're staying at tonight before sundown. Mitokado sighs impatiently. He waves a hand at the guards, and I watch as they take the opportunity to blindfold Sasuke again and drag him by his hair to sit in the corner. At least Sasuke has the strength to use his freed hands to help move himself. A cough from in front of me brings my attention back to the matter at hand. Why do I need an assistant? And do either of these guys even want to do it? I demand, and for the first time, it's Shizune who speaks up. An assistant is vital to the Hokage. They are supposed to make up for any pitfalls that the Hokage might have and support them so they can make the best decisions. In my case, Tsunade-sama has a difficulty staying awake long enough to finish her reports, and she is very loose with money. I, on the other hand, have issues with unfinished work, and I'm very frugal. You see? It follows the principle of yin and yang, of compatibility. She explains it as clearly as possible, but something still doesn't fit for me. So why did you choose Sakura or Shikamaru? I ask, and now it's Shikamaru, who I thought was sleeping this whole time, who answers me. Sakura was picked for her intelligence and that she would be driven enough to make you do your work, assuming you wouldn't do it anyway. Also, she can represent the feminine yin that you lack. I, on the other hand, was also chosen for my intelligence, though I think they didn't realize that I would be even lazier than you. However, I know that I was chosen for my battle experience, which would be helpful for your trials. He shrugs, then rolls his neck around, making small cracking noises. I don't spend more time watching him as I'm too busy trying to picture who would be the best to bring with me. Sakura would be great as a medic nin, but I don't need healing usually because of Kurama. Shikamaru would probably make the best plans, and I've always wanted to work with him when I'm the Hokage. But this assistant thing sounds like a huge commitment, and he's already committed to being his clan leader. And he's right, the last thing I need is to become less motivated to complete boring reports. But if they're my choices, is the decision I make now final? I glance up at Kaharu, but it's Tsunade who tells me that it is. So, I tell them that I've made my choice. My finger raises and points to which friend I wish to have worked beside me. Everyone gasps, and the guard that I'm pointing at has a finger pointed at himself. No, not you, you dolt. Sasuke. I choose Sasuke. I yell, jumping up and making Sasuke stand up by pulling on his rough hands. He's not one of your choices, Naruto. He's not a candidate. Mitokado and Kaharu start complaining, but they're too old to stand up and stop me. No, he's right. His decision is final, and he chose Sasuke. If he was still a recognized Konoha ninja, he would have been my first choice as his assistant. She steps over the broken table and lifts the headband off of Sasuke. Uchiha Sasuke, do you accept the position of assistant to Naruto as he goes through these trials and promise to serve him if he succeeds? She asks, daring to stare into his Sharingan. He starts out, sounding more like himself. What do I get from it? A full pardon, I scramble to answer, making sure that the elders realize it's directed at them, and he's actually considered a Konoha ninja this time. And if you fail? Mitokado asks, raising his eyebrow. I suck in a breath to answer, and Sakura's face makes it obvious that she knows what I'm about to say. I'll go on death row in place of Sasuke, and he is free to go and live anywhere outside of Konoha. I know that they find me as even more of a threat than Sasuke, so I wasn't surprised when the two elders nodded their heads in agreement. Do you accept these terms, Sasuke? Tsunade asks again. Everyone's eyes are on Sasuke, who straightens his back and looks at me to answer. I do, he says, but his eyes turn into slits, for purely selfish reasons. Hell, that hurts, but I should have expected he wouldn't be too happy with me. I accept them, too, I say, and take the headband from Tsunade. Instead of tying it around his eyes, I tie it around his forehead. His hair is all messed up, but I can still see a bit of the Sasuke I said goodbye to a year ago. Now, where is that inn you talked about? And I assume we'll be given some supplies? I ask hurriedly. So you can travel with all the equipment specified in the document. You and your assistant will be riding in a carriage with storage compartments to the town. You'll receive your first trial tomorrow. I twitch a bit at how disgusted Kaharu sounded when she said, "Assistant." "Is it out there now?" I ask, my hand already on the door. "Yes, but," Mitokado begins, but I cut him off. "Then we'll be leaving. Nice seeing you, Sakura, Shikamaru." "Sorry, no offense to either of you." I smile at both of my friends. Though they look concerned, they smile back. At that, I take Sasuke by the wrist and pull him through the doors. Yeah, I hear the two elders squawking at Tsunade, but they don't matter to me now. I don't really have to impress them anymore, I just gotta get through these trials. With Sasuke, who, speaking of which, seems to be going along with me, even though I'm dragging him. It's a bit unnerving, actually, knowing that he's quick to comply because he's been shoved around by those Anbu for about a year. He's so used to being blinded and cuffed. My mind wanders to all the things that the Anbu is capable of doing to people. He might have also been subjected to the terrifying interrogation and torture squad. I can't seem to calm down until we get to the exit. I swallow and let my gaze shift towards Sasuke. There's not many people out there, so you don't have to worry about them noticing you before we get into the carriage. But, in any case, you should protect your eyes. You haven't used them for a while, right? Oh, damn, I feel like I need to cough, but I just swallow again and lead us out of the Hokage Tower. Sasuke doesn't make any sound, but he does keep his head down and eyes away from the light. I guide him into the wagon and follow right behind him, shutting the doors gently. I seat myself across from him and finally allow myself to look at his face again. I jump a little when I'm met with dim red. Oh, right, I forgot about the chakra suppressors. My hands wrap around the last metal bands, and for a split second I reconsider, but I still overload them. One of them lands on my toe, but I don't make any sudden sounds. Sasuke shakes his head, eyes closed, and rubs his arms. When he looks at me again, I finally see the familiar crimson of Sasuke's eyes. There you go. I'll need all the help I can get from you to do these trials. I give a huge grin, and it's not completely faked. There was no guarantee that I would lift a finger to help you. Shikamaru and Sakura, they would have been more than glad to fall all over themselves to help their hero. I'm trying to stop myself from kicking my own ass. The connection between us has not weakened at all, so all the pain in his heart is flooding into me while I look into his eyes. He said hero, but I heard betrayer. This is obviously a better deal, don't you think? I press and forego any attempt to fake a smile. No matter how this turns out, I get out. Shouldn't that be even more of a reason for me to not care about the outcome? In fact, it would be better for me if you failed. He bites back, one eyebrow disappearing under the headband. Wait. If I complete the trials, Sasuke becomes a Konoha ninja and gets a full pardon, but he has to work for me. If I fail, I die in his place and he gets out of Konoha for good. Both sound pretty good for Sasuke. Fucking A, my hand flies to scratch the back of my head once I realize how stupid my terms are. Look, I'm sorry, I start, but his growl stops me in my tracks. It's your fault, you idiot. You tricked me to get me to come back here, saying stupid shit and spewing lies. Then you believed the very bastards who are responsible for the massacre of my clan. Like hell they were going to let me out of Konoha freely. Okay, so maybe I don't want him to talk. I would join him if he wanted to rip my heart out of my chest and start stomping on it. My fault? Do you really feel it's my fault? I ask, but I already know the answer even before Sasuke's glare tells me. Thinking back to the war, I remember Sasuke fighting against me and what we've admitted to each other. He trusted me, and he lands in jail because of it. Fucking A. I trusted Tsunade and Kakashi, but those elders seem to have even more power than they do. What an excuse, idiot. Blame the old chick, that'll make Sasuke happier. His voice is warmed up now, so his words are hitting me at full force. Even if it were true that I was in Kumogakure, one would think that, after all that garbage about wanting me back, you would think of checking up on me. Or you would send a message, even, to your old friends over in that village, and maybe put a word in to ask about me? Was anybody stopping you? Though he's saying one thing, I'm the only one who would be able to hear what he's really asking me. I didn't want to think of Sasuke asking these things from inside a small cell. Why aren't you saving me? What are you doing that's more important than helping me? What happened to being my friend? The only thing I've been doing this past year was training, building, eating, and sleeping. Non-stop, no other thoughts. Once I thought that Sasuke was safely in another village, repenting and being treated well, I began running on autopilot. For the first time since I've met him, Sasuke didn't constantly slip into my thoughts. Since Sakura was always in the hospital, she and I never talked about him, and she didn't think of asking about him, either. Kakashi is also busy as the Hokage. He's currently surveying the damage to the country and small villages because of the war. Nobody made time for Sasuke in their thoughts at a time when he would most need it. Sasuke, all I can say is that I'm so sorry. I just didn't know, and I never would have thought they would do this. You're my best friend, Sasuke. I never wanted this to happen. I plead with him, hoping that my feelings reach him like his are reaching me. It seems to be working, I guess. He looks a bit more relaxed than he did a few minutes ago, at least, but he refuses to acknowledge my apology. We spend some awkward moments in complete silence. Sasuke's dreads sway with every rattle of the carriage. Hey, Sasuke, can you sit in front of me for a minute? I ask as quietly and cautiously as possible. I am sitting in front of you, Yusura Tonkachi. Even though I know he's pissed at me, the old insult makes my stomach flutter and a smile pull on my lips. Maybe, just maybe, this isn't the end of everything between us. I mean here. I point to the floor between my feet. The hell? He sends bloody daggers with his bright eyes, but what for? All I said was, oh, shit. I scrambled to cover for myself, but I feel my neck heating up a bit. I want to cut your hair. I clarify, and he noticeably relaxes. Safe. I'm not sure that the inn will let us in if you look like I picked you up from an opium den, I spout, and his glare returns. Fucking A. Despite my suddenly horrible social skills, he sits facing away from me and unties the headband so that I can have access to the long mess of black strands. Ah, well, at least the only bad dreads are a couple ones up front here. Oh, prison is boring enough for dreading your own hair, I guess. Hey, at least the back isn't bad, but it definitely needs cleaned and combed. I take a kunai from my pouch and chop off the dreads, which were luckily near the bottom. It's not the nicest job, but I managed to cut his bangs so that they resemble what they were a few years ago, if not a little longer. The back is quicker, but I stop cutting once his hair is short enough to spike in the back like it used to. I run a hand through just to untangle the last few knots. Despite the dust, your hair is pretty soft, nay, Sasuke? What did you say about my hair? Sasuke's quick to go sit back on his side. He doesn't stay there for long once he sees all of his old hair on the ground. I watch him throw it all out the open window and wipe his dusty hands on his black prison clothes. I didn't say anything, I just asked if you wanted your headband back. I grab my convenient cover-up and offer it to him. His hand hesitates, but he takes one end of the headband. My heart aches as I remember his departure yet again. This headband meant so much to both of us, and to see it used to hurt Sasuke is unforgivable. Instead of tying it around his head, it goes around his neck like how Hinata wears hers. Weird comparison, self, don't do that. Hinata and Sasuke? Glancing up at my face, he gives me a simple explanation. I don't want to risk it covering my eyes. Understandable, anyway, I'm not used to wearing headbands anymore. We had some kick-ass headbands during the war, didn't we? I wish we would have kept them, but I guess that would defeat the purpose of having the different village symbols on them in the first place, right? No one would know what village a shinobi's from if it just says that he's a shinobi. Vague, huh? Good, a conversation about headbands. This is such a great topic. I'm sure we can shoot the shit like this until we end up at the inn. And then I can hide in my room. Did you forget that I never wore one of those, you idiot? His arms and legs cross in one fluid motion, and I can see some strength returning to those weakened muscles. By the way, oh, right. Hey, enough talk about past war stuff. We gotta stay in the present right now. We're getting the trial tomorrow. We'll have time to shower and relax and think of strategies and whatever else tonight. So, I was thinking, I smirk at him. Knowing he'll hear the challenge, how about warming up a bit with me tonight? What? I didn't even hear it as a question, that's how bluntly he said it. Damn it. Sparring, Sasuke, sparring. You haven't used your muscles in forever. They need warmed up. I made sure he heard every damn word so there couldn't be any more weird misunderstandings, strictly taijutsu. You'll just have to practice with your Sharingan along the way. Once he seems to understand, he smirks a bit at me. Sounds good. Ah yeah, that's the first positive sounding thing he said this whole time. He didn't expect me to answer, so neither of us spoke up until we made it to the inn. The driver pulled a huge bag out of a compartment underneath his seat and threw it onto the ground. I guess there are supplies. Then again, the town we're staying in has signs everywhere for shops of all kinds, so they seem a bit unnecessary. Feeling the sad and deflated frog wallet in my pocket, I remember to be grateful. Despite what I said before, the woman running the inn does not actually seem to think Sasuke was pulled from an opium den. I must be better at haircutting than I thought, since I can see on her cheeks the same blush that used to tint every girl's face whenever they were around Sasuke. When we open the door to our room, I get proven wrong yet again. I would have no room to hide in. Even a ninja can't hide in a shared room. Currently, the only thing that has my attention is the door to the shower room. He's trying to talk to me and get me to look at him, but he's not saying anything important. I don't care if my futon is closer to the door or to the bathroom. Anything is better than a prison cot. Sifting through the supplies, I find what I'm looking for. I pull out a towel, a bar of soap, shampoo, and even a bottle of conditioner just to be thorough. My own filth, the grime from the prison, and the building materials they constantly had me working with are coalescing on every inch of my body. I've barely survived this long by ignoring it in the same way that people have to ignore that their tongue is never comfortable in their own mouth. Taking a shower? Why no, Naruto, I'm about to make dinner. You learn interesting recipes in prison. Would you like a cake with a nail file in it? It's not exactly what's on my mind, but with the way his stupid grin falls, it seems sufficient enough. I close the bathroom door behind me and strip unceremoniously. I plan on burning the clothes anyway, so I don't even bother to pick them up from the floor. Unlike the prison showers, I could get the water to be a temperature other than devil's piss or melted glacier. Gray footprints mark up the tiles as I go to sit on the shower bench. The drain becomes a disgusting whirlpool, like someone I know. But it's hard to be bitter, I guess you could call it, when I'm getting clean. Unfortunately, it's not going to last long since I agreed to go sparring with the moron. That guy. Though I'm making it seem to him that I blame him entirely, I've spent too much time pondering my past in a cell to feel like I'm not at least partially responsible for what I've done. There are plenty of people that my old self would still want revenge on, but that's not who I am anymore. I think, if that were still me, if Naruto had given up on me. I admitted to myself long ago that Naruto is the only reason I didn't make every mistake possible. But even while we fought, I wouldn't let him have what he wanted from me. He wanted me to try living, which included trying to trust the people around me. Once Madara and Kagaya were out of the way, I was stupidly eager to go along with that idea. Despite my desire for revolution, I knew how it would end before it began. To be honest, it felt good to just give in to him. With how much he improved, I had doubted that I would be able to do anything else. But look where it's gotten me. And yet, he thinks a sparring session will make me forgive him? I'm well aware that his method of being a punching bag for my hatred works for me. It's not enough this time. Hatred isn't what I'm feeling. Hatred makes people irrational. My anger has been clearly justified by the village's actions. If he wants to become their puppet, spouting his half-baked ideas for change while they continue to work from the shadows, I want no part in it. I will hear the trial tomorrow and just wait until he fails. The Dobi better hope there's no written exams, but at least it would be cleaner that way. I sigh as I run the towel over my hair, wishing I had remembered to pick up a comb from the bag. Damn it, that's what I forgot. There's no way I'm putting my prison rags back on, so I have no choice but to wander out there in a towel to grab something to sleep in. I wonder if he will dare to insult me when he knows he's already on my blacklist. Pulling the towel around my bare waist, I get so far as to put my hand on the door before I catch a glimpse of myself in a full-length mirror. He didn't do too bad with my hair, I guess. Prison food is disgusting and I lost interest in exercising after the first few months of being in jail, so my body is way too thin for my liking. I still have muscle definition in my arms, chest, and abs, but my ribs, collarbone, and hip bones are too prominent. My elbows and wrists feel weak as stretch my arms out to my sides. My legs are still toned, and my knees aren't knobby, but there's only so much damage a year in prison can do. As for my face, I look like I'm in desperate need of sleep. Sleep's something that I won't get unless I'm dressed, so I push on the door and stride quickly towards the bag I saw clothes in. Hey Sasuke, I made dinner, I hope you like. I'm not facing him, but I can feel his eyes burning into my back, so I turn around to face him. Unless you prefer I stay like this, I have to get something to wear. I wasn't serious in the slightest about there being any other option, but that didn't stop Naruto from becoming as red as the sauce on the spaghetti he cooked. If that idiot would just look away from me for a second, I'd be able to turn and get my clothes, but no, he has to stare at me like a moron. Where are his eyes going? I'm suddenly aware that this towel is too short for comfort. I force a cough, and his eyes go flying back up. Taking the short opportunity, I just grab the whole bag with my free hand and shut myself in the bathroom. I catch a small glimpse of myself in the mirror and I refuse to believe that I have any color crawling onto my face. There's a light blue sleeping kimono top and matching pants in the bag, but again I recall the upcoming sparring session. Digging through the bag, I find a black pair of thin sweatpants and a pair of blue boxer briefs. I don't find any shirts. How could they forget that? Perhaps they forgot it as they rushed to get it packed for me instead of Sakura or Shikamaru. What idiots. There's a bit of summer left in the air, so it will have to do. What I really could do without is the look that Dobie gives me when I come out and sit at the table. He manages to keep the staring down to a minimum, which is for the best since I'm not attempting to use proper table etiquette. At least it's not very easy to wolf down spaghetti. Luckily, I avoid making a mess of myself. By the end, I still feel like I could eat 10 more plates. He didn't make nearly enough to feed a starving prisoner. While he clears the table, I make my way out of the inn and onto the roof. This town looks nothing like Konoha, but it's similar to some of the places I've ended up when traveling. There are shops and neon signs as far as I can see in one direction, but the low sun is pushing its rays through trees a few kilometers away in another. You're looking for a place to spar, right? I'm not paying for damages to the inn's roof. I wasn't expecting him to appear behind me, nor did I sense him somehow, but I managed not to flinch. I'm sorely out of practice. I'm reminded of his reputation during the war as the next Yellow Flash, or more like Orange Flash. It's rare to see him being serious enough to earn such a title. When I look to him, all I can see is the hyperactive boy that I couldn't get out of my mind. Too bad I was so forgettable to him. West, you can see the trees from here, I state bluntly. That weird smile returns to his face again. It's the same one that's been appearing every time I say a word. If he keeps it up, I'm well trained in being mute. Let's get there and back before it's dark, alright? He suggests in a rare moment of intelligence. Before I can nod, he starts rambling again. Hey, how about we race there? Wait, no, he stops smiling. It's not that I think you'd run away. I just don't want to throw the chances out there, ya know? Whatever, it's hard for you to beat me even when you're at your peak. Pissing me off. Keep talking like that and I'll kick your ass, Yusura Tonkachi. Hokage or not, I get prepared to jump to the next roof, but a loud burst of laughter stops me before I push off. You're really trying to be a prick, Sasuke, but you're out of practice with that, too. The hell? He has to stop laughing again before he continues. After all those threats about just walking out on me, you pretty much say that I could become Hokage. Sheer stupidity, that's all that just poured out from his huge, idiotic grin. As an instinct left from our past, he and I stand with our glaring eyes just centimeters apart. He'll be able to feel every damn word I have to say since they seem to make him so deliriously giddy. I don't even see why you had to do these trials. I don't remember a single Hokage who didn't just get in. Are you so stupid that they need proof you won't run the village into the ground? Your village is in a crater anyway, so you're perfect for the job. Send the village straight to hell for all I care. My father, you asshole, he. Ah, so it runs in the family? Biting and snarling. It seems too familiar. Nostalgic, even. Shut up. Do you know how many low blows I could take right now cuz you brought that in? What, you don't want to mention my family? Wonder why. Maybe it's because you're trying to get me to work for the same bastards who have destroyed my clan and its honor. No, Sasuke. Just listen to me. He's getting so close that I can smell spaghetti. I can't stand this proximity, I have to back up. Shit, Sasuke, you should be grateful, you know. He thinks he can toy with me just because his grip on my wrist is the only thing keeping me from falling to the pavement. Stupid curb. Grateful? You fucking dumbass. The idiot tries to lift me back up, but the slippery pavement strikes again. Fucking A. Leave it to Naruto to try to stop someone from falling and end up toppling backwards himself. Would you just let go of me already? I growl. His grip has gotten tight enough to feel like a handcuff. Funny, Sasuke. You first. He's smirking at me, the bastard. Looking down, I realize why. Unlike me, he has a shirt on that someone can grab, which is unfortunately what I'm doing. Naruto also has a lap for me to fall and land in. He's too warm, it's unnatural. I can't remember the last time I've seen you blush, Sasuke. I whip my head around to glare at him before chewing him out, but his grin and my current position take all of the fuel out of my anger. I jump up and wipe my hands off on my pants like I'm trying to get rid of any traces of him. It's extremely childish, but it always works on him. He huffily picks himself up. I'm already flying across rooftops to the forest. He yells out some incoherent complaint as he chases after me. As uneventful as taijutsu sparring is on most occasions, it does the trick for me. Before either of us makes a move, he already has out 1,000 clones for me to tear through. Once I get to the real Naruto, I refuse to stop until I see him get as exhausted as I am. By the end, we are dragging each other through the town. We collapse side by side on the cooled tatami floor, panting heavily. Naruto groans every time he has to move his ribs to breathe. I nearly go insane watching every drop of sweat form, trail down his whiskered cheeks, then fall off his strong chin onto the tatami floor. The sweat highlights the angles in his face that were barely present a year ago. I don't know why it's bothering me so much. His face contorts in pain as he presses up from the floor. He stumbles over to the closet that holds the futons. It's hard to think clearly, but I know I'm crawling. There's a pillow and then flashes of red and gold, like fire. Purple and silver light the way towards a familiar grove. We trained here. There's always been a we. I'm gone, it's we, now. When are we going to see each other again? We're in our valley again, fighting endlessly. My only weakness, and he's crying this time. Something is missing, or I'm missing something. What is missed? What's this pressure on my leg? What's grazing it? A bug? Just what? Huh? I blink until I'm at least semi-conscious, and the first thing I make out is an orange knee. Another graze at my leg caused me to be fully alert, but I was too sore to make any move to get away. You got a cut on your leg that you didn't notice, or something. I'm just cleaning and bandaging it. Naruto doesn't look at me to speak, he just dabs rubbing alcohol on the shallow wound and starts winding a small bandage over it. His hands work nimbly, but the repetitive grazing on my inner thigh makes me want to push him away and do it myself. It's so frustrating. Or is it agitating? Nevertheless, it's bothering me and I want him to stop, but he's done before I can properly complain. Breakfast is nothing special. I just made some of the crappy oatmeal they had in the supply box. I already ate, but I want a shower before whoever's coming gets here with our trial. It's unlike him to be so efficient, but I can't help but think he's trying to do it for my benefit. Hell, when hasn't he done something for my benefit? Excluding this past year, of course. He's done with his shower a minute after I finish breakfast and wash the dishes. Without any exchange, I take my turn to shower and prepare myself for the day ahead. The choices I make during this trial will determine quite possibly the future of the whole shinobi world. Naruto has become such a beacon for people all around who live in this disgusting world of ninja. Before becoming an adult, he already had converted various influential people to his nindo. For a small time, I was one of many. No matter how many he swayed, they were just side effects from chasing after me, just events on the path to having me come back to him. Why have all of his roads lead to me? The same can't be said for my path, since I'm perfectly willing to throw him to the lions in my place while I leave Konoha behind forever. That's one road of mine that won't end with him. Smoke is dissipating in the main room as I leave the bathroom. My eyes detect the movements and every detailed change in the atmosphere. I can see a small frog in the middle of the room before it's cleared. Knowing Naruto's history with frog summons, I relax my fighting position but stay tense as I await the trial. Naruto-chan, about time you became Hokage, the old, shriveled frog croaks. Naruto looks like he's going to kiss the thing when he picks it up and spins around like a child. Fukasaku, you old bag. It's been forever. You look even more ancient than I remember. They kept exchanging banter until I lost my patience with either of the idiots. What's the trial? I managed to interject after Naruto gets done asking about someone named Shima, who's the frog's wife, I assume. Ah, thanks for reminding me. Fukasaku exclaims and clears his throat. It's taken him long enough to notice me. His gray eyebrows stretch far back when he finally looks in my direction. Why, you're the Uchiha boy Naruto talked about. He laughs as though I would get some joke. I tell ya. He was mourning Jiraiya-chan, but I swear he talked about you more than anybody else during break times. Damn it, Fukasaku, shut up about that and answer his question. I wanna know, too. Are we fighting some bandits? Transporting a scroll? Protecting some feudal lord's daughter? He lists boring missions that we could have done as genin. Maybe he forgets what interesting missions are like now that the war is over. Nope, you're coming with me. And with that, I feel a strange popping sensation over my whole body, then another one before there's smoke again. The air is heavy with chakra that I can't place, so I know we've been reverse summoned to somewhere I've never been before. Mount Myoboku missed you, Naruto-chan. A female frog, who I believe is Shima, hops over and greets Naruto. When she looks at me, her reaction is identical to Fukasaku's. Oh, wow, Naruto didn't even skim the surface when he mentioned how good you look. You are definitely an Uchiha, aren't you? That clan had some of the most beautiful men in the Fire Country, it did. She stares blatantly as she hops around me. Ma, why do you even care about the beauty of a human, huh? Just trying to make me jealous, you are, I know it. Fukasaku pouted and patted his wife on her purple curls. Just because I can't have it doesn't mean it's not worth looking. Whole point behind art museums, right? She glances over at a small clock on the wall. Oh, Pa, you're going to make them late. Follow me, boys. You need to go get your prophecy out of the way before we can start with the fire meditation. Neither of us ever heard of fire meditation, and I'm not in the mood for prophetic bullshit. Regardless, we follow her through the colorful jungle of Mount Myoboku to an elaborate chamber where the oldest creature I've ever seen is awaiting us. You seem familiar, yes. Yellow hair. Stupid grin. Ah, you must be. The old frog slowly pointed at Naruto, but his finger dropped. Nope, can't get it. Naruto, you old geezer. I'm Uzumaki Naruto. I'll say it again, maybe you'll remember it for the next time you see me. Uzumaki Naru. Ah, Uzumaki Naruto, I knew I would remember it eventually. My memory seems to be getting better lately, don't you think, Fukasaku-chan? His laugh is watery and strained, and it's amplified by the stone walls surrounding us. No, Ojiji-sama. I think you're even more senile than the last time you saw Naruto-chan. It was just a year ago. Fukasaku smiles as he chides the elder frog. And I've seen this other one in my prophecies for Naruto-chan. An Uchiha, by the looks of that fancy Sharingan you have there. Naruto audibly pouts when I'm recognized by name. You can talk to the Uchiha boy after you tell them their prophecy. Naruto's going to become Hokage, right? Fukasaku presses. Ah, so this is the prophet. Should have figured it was going to be something idiotic like a senile frog. This is Naruto and Konoha, after all. Yeah, Hokage, trials, I saw those things in my dream. Not certain that he'll do it since the instability of this Uchiha is muddling up their future. If he can stabilize, they will be the strongest duo this world has ever seen. If he continues on the path he thinks he's chosen, I'm afraid, aloe vera. Naruto nearly falls over at the stupid outburst. He slaps his own face, dragging his hand down past his eyes. What the hell does aloe vera have to do with this? Naruto grumbles through his palm. No clue, but it has something to do with you too, and it's a doozy. Nope, no idea, but now you're getting me off track. He shakes his head at Naruto slowly, like it's Naruto's fault that he screams the first thing that comes to mind. Overall, it's up to this boy to decide your fate, Naruto, but you have the biggest hold on him. He's been promised to you by his brother, after all. What, Sasuke's promised to me? That doesn't even sound right. There's no way Itachi said anything to him. Itachi just said that he entrusted him to me, that I'm supposed to take care of Sasuke for him. Nothing was promised, Ojiji-sama. What? We've heard the prophecy. Why are we still standing here talking to some ancient toad? I let my voice ice over in warning to all present. True, it's almost noon. Fire meditation is always best done at noontime. Thank you very much for the prophecy. We'll be back later, great toad sage. Shima waved goodbye before ushering us out of the chamber. I swear that I hear the old sage say something like, so that's what it's for. As the large doors close behind us, we're immediately accosted by two huge toads, one yellow and one brown. They also seem to be Naruto's friends and perhaps his summons, if I remember from back then. Naruto-ni, you finally got back that Uchiha you talked about so much. I swear, I was going to make you repay me for every second you wasted talking about this guy if you didn't do it, but you did. Congrats. Again? Did Naruto talk to every toad here about me, or what? Naruto ni, did you bring any food? The slow-sounding yellow one nudges Naruto, who just laughs and pats it. Sorry, Gamatatsu, it was a bit sudden. Gamakichi, I don't have any time to play today. Sasuke and I are supposed to be doing some fire meditation? Naruto scratches the back of his head with the same hand he used to pat the oily frog. You what? You two are getting married? Now when did that happen? That explains everything, I'm so happy for you. What the hell? I'm done with this place. Married? No, wait, is that what the fire meditation is? Naruto screeches. Naruto starts panicking, flailing, and blushing at the same time. I, on the other hand, give Shima 2 seconds to explain before I torch this jungle. No, that's not what the fire meditation is for today. Yes, Naruto, we usually have couples do the fire meditation as part of their wedding ceremony. The last time it was used for your purpose was your father and his assistant. He also came here for his wedding with that lovely Kushina. But no wedding today. She jumps up on Naruto's shoulder and bumps him with her elbow. Unless you boys want to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, yeah, funny, can we just forget all that? Naruto flounders, and obviously tries to avoid my glare. Fukasaku jumps on his other shoulder, getting ready to tease Naruto, too. Sure, when I asked you a while ago who you wanted to marry, it was a slip-up when you said Sasuke instead of that Sakura girl. Really, Naruto has no limits to his idiocy, but you know, slip-ups usually reveal what you're really feeling subconsciously. If we don't start right now, I might find that I have an insatiable craving for frog legs. My tone quiets the group of morons, and it's as though they just realized that I was there the entire time. Alright, we're just teasing our Naruto-chan, Fukasaku yields, but dares to smirk at me, but you know, we would approve of this. He's hopping away before I can retort. He and his wife spend too much time drawing a large rune circle with markings that suggested yin and yang. When they're done, they pour oil on the line separating the 2 forces. They motion for us to sit on our respective sides, yin being mine, and Naruto's yang. This had been made clear to us during the war, so no discussion was necessary. They wait until we're seated before lighting the oil. The flames rise to our shoulders. Naruto should only be able to see my head, whereas my Sharingan lets me still see him fully. He must not realize that I can, because he allows himself to start fidgeting in what might be worry. It's understandable. After all, this is a trial. There must be some way that this can go wrong. Now, everyone experiences different symbols. Usually, the ones getting married see red strings of fate. Your father reported seeing him and his assistant making the seal of reconciliation. Whatever happens, it's your heart's communication. You'll just be observing. If you don't see anything symbolic of your bond being a success, or you don't see into each other's hearts at all, then Sasuke cannot be your assistant and you have not passed this trial. The old female frog dictates the trial to us. After finishing the official explanation, Shima softens for Naruto. Don't worry, Naruto-chan. You have to meditate like we showed you. You, too, Sasuke-chan. Though I want to stay aware so we fail the test, it happens instantly when Naruto calms down and meets my gaze over the flames. We are in the familiar white space where we've read each other's hearts on multiple occasions. The lights that resemble stars are shooting around us and twinkling above and beneath us. My heart sees Naruto standing meters or centimeters away from me. We are close and far apart at one time. His bare body is standing before me, his skin glowing and flickering. His lower half is obscured by white fiery tongues. A barrier of fire between us can't be a good representation for a bond, can it? But the greatest symbol for a bond is present on us, and I want to refuse its existence. The red string of fate is connecting our little fingers. If that's present, then all that's around us is just supplemental proof of our bond. This bond, this string, I know what it means, but it can't be possible. There must be several other possibilities of what this string could mean. It's in horrible shape, so maybe that's a sign of the difference between this string and the one known through myths. It has black burn marks on my side, and looks ragged on his. The center of the string is stretched over the fire barrier. I feel my heart as it opens its eyes and detaches itself from my thoughts and plans entirely. It focuses entirely on the glowing blue eyes across from it. They get larger and brighter as Naruto's heart is drawn towards mine. The fire burns lower as he approaches, but all my heart watches is Naruto's smiling face. He has me lift my tied hand so he can give me one end of a gold wire. Together, we tie off the damaged parts of the red string, leaving only a centimeter on each side. With that, he extends 2 fingers to me, and I take them in my own. Searing pain snaps us back to reality. It's our physical bodies that are making the seal of reconciliation through a very physical fire. Naruto pulls away in a flash, while I rip myself away from the fire. Neither of us leave the large circle, but as to whether we did that consciously, I'm not sure. Like waking up from a dream, it's a dizzying feeling to suddenly go from a meditative state to an aware one. I can't seem to remember where we are. Naruto, Sasuke, are you okay? Shima asks, but Fukasaku jumps in before either of us answer. We don't know if that was a good sign or not, really. We've never seen the physical bodies react while they're meditating. Were you doing that in the vision? Yeah, that part was like the first time I read Sasuke. We did it back then without knowing what it was completely. As he speaks, Naruto's voice is deep and smooth with only a hint of the roughness he has in his usual voice. What could he have seen to make him sound like that? I don't like what it does to me. That part? What were the other parts? The female frog tries to prod the information out of Naruto, but he becomes uncharacteristically silent at her question. The frogs give each other looks like they were assuming the worst. There's no reason for him to be keeping quiet about what we saw. I could try looking at it in every way possible, but there is no doubt that it was a positive vision. For him, at least. I don't know why he's being silent. He should be bragging about it, I scoff. If they would just speak up, Naruto would tell them everything. So, I'm just trying to not have my time wasted. That's all, nothing more. Yeah, I should, really. We had this messed up red string connecting our fingers. We walked towards each other, and then we tied a gold wire around the string. It was like we were tying off all of the parts that were bad. After we tied it, Sasuke, he was crying and smiling at the same time. Naruto avoids my gaze when he describes how I appeared in the vision. Also, where the hell were our clothes? Whenever we would go into that white space, we looked how we did in the physical world. Naruto asks the question that has been nagging the back of my mind. I've heard of that, actually. It happened for the wedding fire meditation for your father and mother. They didn't know what exactly it symbolized, either. I suspect that it shows you were baring your hearts completely to each other. The much more important part is that red string you're talking about. Fukasaku tries to turn the subject to that damn string, but he doesn't get any further than mentioning it. Yeah, I could probably sit here and ask you to figure out what it all meant, but I want to get to that first trial. Naruto declares as he throws his hands behind his head and shifts all his weight to one leg. The flames between us roar before dying out completely. It scares Naruto out of his ridiculous pose. What are you talking about, Naruto? That was the soul trial. You two already passed. In fact, you may be a better match than you know. Shima giggles and her eyebrows waggle suggestively. When he hears that he's one step closer to becoming Hokage, Naruto is stupid enough to backflip in celebration and then wrap an arm around my neck. Stop choking me, you idiot. Don't touch me. My protests go unheeded, so I jam an elbow into his solar plexus. He quickly obeys me after that. You said this was the soul trial, I ask, shifting my focus from the idiot dangling off me in pain to the frogs on the ground. What are the other trials? There are 12 more, correct? Well, you're allowed to know. The first Hokage had a deep respect for yin and yang, but he also placed a lot of weight behind the 12 zodiacs. Plus, the trials needed to be able to last for as long as the village was standing, so they had to be flexible enough to fit into any time period. Therefore, the trials are chosen based on their relation to the zodiac. Fukasaku gives me his long-winded answer. Great, a theme. That really makes this seem way more legitimate. Makes sense to me, and I like the zodiac. And, of course, Naruto's all for it. Like always. If we're done here, I have things to attend to. Transport us back, I demand. It's a simple request, but it gets shot down by the increasingly annoying frog couple. Hey, while you're here, why don't you learn to meditate with the best? Naruto-chan here learned in a short time what was impossible for Jiraiya-chan, which is how to calm down and center himself entirely. You could probably do for some realignment, Sasuke-chan. Go ahead, you two. We'll just head back home and we'll send you back, His wide mouth smirks at me, eventually. I make a move to threaten him again, but Naruto stops me by the shoulder as they disappear. Glancing towards him, I notice the light scars on his large hand. Since when did his hands become larger than mine? And if I look back, he's taller than me. Barely, but I see it. Oi, I'm taller than you. Leave it to him to be able to know what I'm thinking from my momentary lapses into pointless thoughts. Explainable by you being able to eat, train, and move around properly, and I not having any of those things, I hiss, making no effort to hide my annoyance. I didn't mean anything by it, Sasuke. Forget I said anything and come sit down. I'm sure you know how to meditate, right? With nothing to it, he drops onto the ground and starts meditating. Every trace of the Naruto from my past is replaced entirely with this new Naruto. When he's aware, he's still an idiot, but when he's concentrating with such tranquility, I don't know what to think. There were two constants about Naruto: his voluntary stupidity, and his obsession with getting me back. I thought any interest in me left when he let me rot in that prison. Now, it's like he switched once he saw me again. This Yusura Tonkachi, he's showing me who Uzumaki Naruto is. In return, he wants to get to know Uchiha Sasuke. Not Uchiha Sasuke the Avenger from the past. He wants the true me, the Sasuke I can be now that I'm free from revenge, hatred, and prison. Damn, I must have been meditating for hours. The sun is already in the west. Well, it seems like I wasn't the only one. Unlike me, Sasuke relaxes when he's in deep meditation, so he's not frowning and his eyebrows aren't furrowed like mine do. If he shaved his hair, which I really wouldn't recommend, he'd look like a monk. It's a bit mean to interrupt him when he seems so at peace, but we have to get to Konoha to report our trial before we get the next one tomorrow. A small pat on his shoulder pulls him out of focus, but he doesn't jump. Lucky, I always seem to fall off of things when someone wakes me up. It's almost night, he points out once he pries his eyes open. It's not fair, he stands up even more gracefully than he normally does. Anyway, the bastard's right, but I thought it first. I know that, that's why I stopped you. We had to go make our report. It's not too late, the old geezers shouldn't be sleeping. We can even get Fukasaku to send us straight to Konoha. Speak of the slimy devil, Fukasaku hops over a bush and over to us. No problem, you guys behave, now. Shima and I will see you at your inauguration. He beams, then makes a hand seal. I have just enough time to wave goodbye before Sasuke and I are covered in a white cloud. When we walk through it, the gates of Konoha are right in front of us. Without thinking, I start walking straight onto the ramp leading into Konoha. Sasuke doesn't follow me. Oh, right, I mutter and scratch the back of my head. Normally, I'd suggest we take some precautions with letting the villagers see Sasuke, but the idea of hiding it like I'm ashamed of him bothers me. Nope, not gonna happen. I'm not gonna let them shun Sasuke the same way they did to me. Maybe they'll be okay, since I'm considered a hero. That's gotta count for something. Nope, we're walking straight through. Come on, I call, motioning for him to come along. I continue walking without waiting for him. Soon, I hear his quiet footsteps following behind me. Maybe his uncertainty isn't completely unfounded. When we pass by shops, the conversation lowers to a quiet buzz. Some store owners are even glaring at him. People on the street stay to the outer edges as we walk through. The weirdest thing is that some people seem to be glaring at me. But since nobody stops us, we enter the Hokage Tower and request a meeting with the elders. The wait isn't too long, but it's unsettling to have conversations suddenly stop as workers spot us. To be honest, I only relax when I'm sitting in front of the elders. Fucking A, that's so backwards. Granny Tsunade's not even here. We assume this is about your first trial. You seem relaxed, Naruto. It must have gone well, Mitokado remarks. Is it just me, or does Mitokado seem to be the nicer one? Don't get ahead of yourself, Mitokado. They had to give their report, Kaharu sneers. Yup, I was right. Alright, here it is. We got transported to Mount Myoboku by Fukasaku, and we received a prophecy from the great Toad Sage. We also did the fire meditation and got positive results from that. So, are we done here? I speak quickly but clear enough. What was this prophecy? Kaharu directs all her questions to me, but maybe that's for the best. Sasuke doesn't seem to be doing so good, or at least, he's a bit more tense than usual. He said that Sasuke and I would become the most powerful duo, as long as Sasuke can stabilize himself. That, and something about aloe vera. Before they can open their mouths, I finish, don't ask me. The old toad has said some weird things before. They all came true, but in weird ways. Did you see your bond during the fire meditation? Mitokado asks, and in response, my stomach grumbles. Yeah, it seemed in better shape. Look, we've only eaten crappy oatmeal all day. We want to go eat. Can we be done here? I don't think my whining makes me seem like a better candidate for Hokage, but I've always hated reporting. It's just saying the same shit that just happened, like trying to explain to someone who just came in what's going on in the movie you're trying to watch. Sasuke doesn't seem to be enjoying it either, and I'm sure he's as hungry as I am. First you come in unexpectedly at such a late hour, then you think you can end the meeting yourself. Hasn't anybody told you to respect your elders? Kaharu yells, her cheeks getting all red and puffy. Hey, this is fun. Sorry, I missed out on a lot of life lessons when I was a kid. By the way, this new table's nice, I smirk, knowing I've won when Kaharu rolls her eyes. That'll be all, Naruto, Sasuke. Prepare yourself for the next trial. They won't all be as easy as that first one. With that, Mitokado sends us off. Though I seemed confident about going to eat, I have no clue where we can go. Everyone seems so weird about Sasuke. But before I can make any plans of action, Sakura runs up to us. Giving Sasuke a once-over, she makes it obvious that she is also a bit hesitant about having Sasuke free and in Konoha. She has forgiven him for what he's done, but she's always been a wary kunoichi. Maybe she thinks he's back to being an Avenger now that he was thrown in jail. However, she always seems to be on my side, so I know that I just have to give her some time to get used to it. I'm glad I found you guys before any of them did. Look, come out eating with me. I think I know one place that should be pretty free of those people. The hell is she talking about? Instead of saying it myself, Sasuke asks it in better words. Who are those people? I'm proud of Sakura, really. When she's addressed by Sasuke for the first time in a long, stressful while, she keeps her cool and looks directly into his red eyes. The theorists. You wouldn't believe some of the ideas about you two that I've heard. I'll tell you more when we get to the bar. These streets aren't the safest for you two, she whispers hurriedly as she directs us down an alley. I have a million questions at once, but the least important one always seems to be what comes out. A bar? We're only 18. Oh, what the hell, my age was never an issue to me before. I mean, I stole porn mags to perfect my Wai no Jutsu when I was 11. Why can't I ask proper questions like Sasuke? They don't have the highest standards at this place. Just ask Kiba, he celebrates the end of any hard mission at the paper bag, Sakura replies. Sounds real classy. Alright, we'll go. They better have good food there. I nearly shout, but Sakura shushes me. She leads us down a few alleys into an earlier built area of Konoha. I remember it enough, since a termite infestation took out a few of the new buildings here. One of the houses that was supposed to be knocked down is still standing. It has a warped board messily nailed above the door, and scrawled on this board is, the paper bag. This village is hardly a year old and it already has seedy hole in the walls. Sasuke makes a good point, but I'm pretty glad to see the village getting some character back. And this bar is full of characters, alright. The wooden bar looks like it was attacked by a mob of 3-year-olds armed with crayons and juice. None of the bar stools match, neither do any of the plates and cups. A mismatched selection of cheap booze lined one wall, and the rest were covered in posters and paintings in an attempt to cover the termite damage. The few tables the bar could fit seemed to be nailed and glued together from the remnants of the other termite-ruined buildings. He might be crazy, but you have to admire the guts it takes for the owner to keep this shithole running. A burly woman who had been serving drinks behind the bar comes up to us, wiping her hands on a moth-eaten rag. Naruto, heard you before. Call me sweetie. This other guy's with you? She asks in the deepest, huskiest voice I've ever heard. When Sweetie gives Sasuke a once-over, she spends way too much time staring at his crotch. She proves to be like many women when a blush splotches her face. Damn it, Sasuke, stop being so attractive and hot to everybody. No, Naruto. He can keep on being as hot as he wants. Sweetie chuckles, but it sounds like a bear grumbling. Fucking A, I said it out loud again. Oh man, Sasuke's got an eyebrow raised. Please, take a seat. It's on the house. Make sure you drink plenty and come talk to me later, okay? Sweetie suggests with a discolored grin. She makes sure Sasuke sees her winking before she returns to the drunks at the bar. Once she's gone, Sasuke looks at me again. Thinking fast, I plop down at an empty table and instantly regret it. The cushion might as well be a rag between me and the hardwood floor. Sakura and Sasuke both make faces when they sit down on their crappy pillows, too. An old, nearly toothless guy comes to take our order. I don't plan on drinking, so we just get some cheap food. Sakura finally speaks up once Sasuke and I start eating. I've heard all the different rumors in the hospital. I know there's no way any of it is true, but it doesn't take much to rile up these villagers. Think about it, they found out about Danzo, Root, and many other dark secrets about Konoha. The end of the war and the rebuilding made everyone want to work together and be peaceful, but hearing about you and Sasuke working together was like opening the floodgates. Now, all of a sudden, everyone's coming up with different ideas about what's going on. She reveals with clear distress in her voice. With every word, I get more seriously pissed off. Sasuke doesn't deserve this bad of a reception. What's their deal about Sasuke? The war is over, he's with us now, what more do they want? I thought I was still hungry after I finished my food, but I've lost my appetite now. That's just the thing, Naruto. It's not just Sasuke they have a problem with, she murmurs and looks up at me. Her gentle stare makes it pretty damn obvious who they're suspicious about. After all I've done, it just takes one choice to have them back to hating me again? Kurama and I are friends and we won't hurt anyone. Really, I still haven't gotten rid of the stigma attached to being a Jinchuriki? Not even saving the whole fucking world changed their minds? What does it take? I swear, I'll do anything if it would just work for once. What about the other ninja? Kakashi, the rest of the rookies, what do they think? Sasuke asks, and I feel a pool of dread form in my stomach. Kakashi hasn't been back to hear the news yet. As for the rookies, they're still on your side, but I can tell that some of them are concerned about the theories. She sighs and runs a hand through her pink hair. It can't be easy telling us this, but that's obvious since her eyes are starting to shine with tears. So, what are the theories you've heard? I ask through my gritted teeth. One says that it seemed convenient that you have built up a reputation as a hero right after Sasuke left and became a missing nin. They think that you two plotted everything that happened from the Chunin exams onward. That all includes getting Orochimaru involved, you winning against Neji, and Sasuke's actions. They think it was so that you could seem to be the hero who changes people and brings peace. Then, once you change him, Sasuke would be allowed back into the village. What a load of bullshit. I growl, and get quieted down by both Sasuke and Sakura. Sakura continues, when they heard that Sasuke had been in jail instead of out on his journey, they started to theorize that you were having him stay in there to be protected by Root until you could become Hokage. Though it sounds ridiculous to me, I can see how some people might piece things together like that. They believe that you both hold strong grudges against this village, that you want to run it into the ground. But really, she pauses, looking away from us. I think everyone is afraid of how powerful you two are when you're together. The war stories from when you started working together have become legendary because of how ungodly strong of a team you make. They think you could not only destroy Konoha, but all of the ninja villages. They're all idiots. They think that we somehow made such a complex plan for world domination when we were 12. There are so many instances where a plan like that could have gone wrong. No, they don't know anything, Sasuke scoffs. I may be the one whose reputation is falling the farthest, but Sasuke already doesn't have high hopes for this village. If they make him hate it even more, there's no way he'll want to work as my assistant. Is that the worst of them? I ask her, but really, what could be worse than this? Oi. That Uzumaki Naruto guy, huh? Some greasy drunk guy is tripping his way over to our table. What the hell could he want? This other ass, Yayu. That Sasuke everyone's talking about, huh? He grunts and points a filthy finger at Sasuke. So Waziz, I hear bout you guys bein' fags since ya two were 12, yeah? Who the fuck does this guy think he is? Ya know wa, I heard? Hey, they're all sayin', no shit, zat you. Fucking Uchiha fag. Zat you su. Sadu. Got all gay and shit with Naruto. Now, I be one of dem who think you guys made all lil plans, but some guys are sayin' it was all idea, Yukai ha. Sasuke's Sharingan spins faster with every word the drunk slurs. The guy lets out a few wheezing laughs before spewing some more bullshit. So was it, Blondie? Is that Sasuke guy dat good a fuck? Gonna shit on village just so y'all can fuck, I am? Fucking fags. I'm surprised Sasuke lasted this long, but that asshole really deserved the broken jaw. Sakura is too shocked to move for a second, but I see her start healing the guy before I follow Sasuke, who's storming out of the bar. Sasuke, wait up, seriously. I call out as I slam the door behind me. He's not running, so I rush to grab hold of his arm. His reaction is to whip around and drag me closer to him by my collar. You really thought this through, didn't you? Let alone the fact that I can choose to fuck you over at any moment. You have to worry that these idiots won't accept you as Hokage since they think you're plotting something with me. Look, I get that you're not used to the villagers hating you, but I sure as hell am. I know from experience that they will come around if you just prove to them that you're not a monster. That's all we have to do, okay? His grip loosens slightly, but I get closer instead of backing off. In the meanwhile, they'll just have to deal with us working together. Get away from me before somebody thinks that Drunk's theory has any merit, he growls and pushes me away. Caught off guard, I stumble a bit at the force. I'm going back to the inn. Their staring is driving me insane, he hisses and stalks off. Ya know, you can't be driven when you're already there, bastard. Well, it's not like I'm gonna try staying here. I grumble and follow Sasuke up the ramp and through the gates. Another figure is coming towards us, but it's hard to make them out now that it's night. It's not until I see the telltale weird hairstyle that I know just who it is. It's nice to see you two together again. It's almost nostalgic. Kakashi smiles. I can tell, but who the hell knows with that mask of his? We wouldn't be together again if Sasuke had been put to death. What the hell were you thinking, letting them put Sasuke in jail? I snarl at my old teacher. I refuse to believe this would happen. Believe me, Naruto. I was fed the same story you were. I never expected that they would go this far. Kakashi sighs and crosses his arms. But they did. They threw him in jail without even telling you, the Hokage. Don't tell me they can just get away with that? I try to keep my voice to a dull roar. Sasuke, on the other hand, is staying completely silent. It's complicated, Naruto. The power structure in the villages isn't as clear-cut as people think. I'm just glad you're okay, Sasuke. I can only say I'm sorry for what they did. What they did? Are you referring to throwing me in jail or ordering my brother to murder my family? And these are the people you're letting run the village? Sasuke seethes, but keeps himself away from Kakashi. As I said, it's not so clear-cut like that. You two will find out if you pass your trials. Speaking of which, I'll be leading you to your next one. Kakashi informs us before turning back around to start walking out of the village. With no other options, we follow him. Trial? I thought we were getting that tomorrow? Sasuke mutters and adjusts the headband around his neck when he catches Kakashi looking at it. I thought I'd save you a trip and have you spend the night at the casino. The room is already bought and paid for. So, come on, we can still make it there at a decent hour if we hurry. Casino? We're staying at a casino? I didn't even know there were any of those in the Fire Country. Not only that, what the hell could a trial be if it's at a casino? Well, where else do you think Tsunadeheim loses most of her money? We talk louder as we start jumping through the trees. I groan when I think of what this trial could be. Don't tell me this trial is getting the Hokage out of paying her debt to a casino, Sasuke sneers. Even he's pissed at the idea that these trials might not be any challenge to us at all. No, there's a different objective. This is the rat trial, so it deals with you two going undercover as spies. Your target the owner of the King Coin Casino and his mistress, Lady Chance, who's a popular high roller. The owner goes by the alias of Big Dealer, and not much is known about him other than his interest in money, gaudy jewelry, and attractive women. So, what, we had to kill them? I thought we were spies, not assassins. I protest, catching up to Kakashi. To be honest, I'm still squeamish about the idea of killing someone. It's weird for a ninja, but I don't think I've killed a single person myself. Our whole war was against zombies, really, so there wasn't a chance there. If someone has died during one of my missions, it was usually by someone else's hand. I hope I never have to. No, they're both targets because it's up to you two to win over Big Dealer and Lady Chance. Naruto, you'll have to use your Why no Jutsu form for this one, and you'll go under the alias Diamonds. Sasuke, you're Spades, Kakashi briefs us like any team captain should. Who are you, then? Sasuke asks while I try to get over being named something as silly as Diamonds. I'm nobody, since I'm going straight back to Konoha once we get there. Kakashi is quick with his responses, but he still hasn't gotten around to telling us the important part. Okay, fine, we don't need your help anyway. Or, at least, I don't think so since you haven't even told us what we're doing. I grumble, sounding more like my younger, brattier self. I see you haven't figured out how to be patient. I hope Sasuke can balance that out in you when he's your assistant. He tries to drag on, but Sasuke and I growl at him. He shrugs, unfazed, or maybe not. Anyway, your objective is to get the two pieces to Rummy's mask without causing alarm while you're there. You'll know who Big Dealer and Lady Chance are by seeing what two people are wearing half a mask. Unfortunately, that's all I can tell you. Damn, it seems so boring. Nobody says another word until we're outside of the neon casino town. It's built around a skyscraper that has a huge marquee wrapping around it. The marquee has these rainbow words scroll across the screen. King Coin Casino. Come see Lady Chance and Big Dealer. Play high-stakes poker, roulette, blackjack, and all your gambling favorites. Kakashi produces two dress bags from his backpack. One is a sleek, black suit for Sasuke, and the other is a shimmery white dress for my Y no Jutsu form. I transform and change into the dress and matching heels, but I feel a bit bare. Using the transformation jutsu again, I add a diamond choker that covers my neck in dangling rows of sparkles. I add a little bling on my wrist and, there, that should make me look rich enough for the Big Dealer. Okay, fine, maybe I just like dressing up. It's not every day that I get to be Naruto, as I call her. To be honest, I've spent so much time perfecting this jutsu that she's become a part of me. Some days, I will wake up and feel like being her for a while. To me, it's like being myself, just in a different way. I don't know how else to describe it, really. One time, I left my apartment as Naruto in order to train. I was fully dressed and I wasn't planning any pranks, but I still got called a pervert. So, I don't go out as her anymore. I mean, it's obvious that she's supposed to be me. I wouldn't perv on myself. Sure, I'm hot as Naruto, but I'm hot as Naruto, too. I don't get why people have to be so weird about it. Anyway, once I'm done admiring my own hotness, I look over to check on Spades. I regret it immediately. Sasuke didn't have to do anything special other than put on the suit and keep the silky black undershirt unbuttoned halfway. Instant dreamy dark prince. Damn it all. Just damn. After he sees me decked out in diamonds, Sasuke transforms and gives himself a short necklace. It has a stylized spade pendant carved out of a shiny black stone. It's onyx, I think, though I don't know much about gems and stones. What I do know is that it looks so damn good against his ivory skin. Once we're finished dressing, we head out to the casino without Kakashi. Now that he's not around, I can't help but stare openly at Sasuke. You know, Spades, I wonder why you aren't going by blackjack. You look like something I'd want in my hand, I giggle in my new, feminine voice. Fucking A. Am I really gonna try to flirt with Sasuke of all people? Besides, in what universe would a shitty pickup line work on an Uchiha? Sasuke chuckles under his breath and it completely blows my mind. When I look up in surprise, he catches my eye and winks at me. Mayday! Mayday! Abort mission. My face is going numb with all the blood rushing around in it. What the hell was I thinking? Since I'm just slightly distracted, I only notice the huge bouncer in front of me when I run straight into his rock-hard chest. Names. As he asks for ours, I notice that this mountain of a man has a name tag. Well, I flirt as well as I can while being ominously stared down. It's very nice to meet you, Blackjack. I'm Diamonds. My friend here, he goes by Spades. Suits him, right? Get it? Suits? Sasuke places a hand on my back that not so subtly means, stop that. Now, Blackjack spends another minute glaring at us, but then he grunts and lets us into the shining King Coin Casino. He must appreciate puns more than tight-ass Sasuke does. So, I guess that's why you're not Blackjack, huh? What a faux pas, two people in a casino going by the same overused nickname. I snicker under my breath. Good thing I didn't have to compete for the title, Sasuke murmurs. My loud snort of laughter nearly blows my cover. Sasuke regains our disguise by putting an arm around my waist and whispering into my ear. Look, I should have said this earlier, but my part is easy. Nobody will notice if I use my Sharingan. Playing along, I stroke my fingers along his jawline. Tilting my head the same seductive way I've seen in movies, I whisper back to him, "I'm glad you've decided to play with me, Spades." Sasuke's face becomes blank for a moment, but he starts smirking as Spades. My whisper transforms into a sensual purr, "Just remember that you're not supposed to look suspicious. You have to get her attention and flirt enough with her so that the people around her aren't shocked when she goes off with you." Putting on his poker face, Sasuke searches the crowd for a woman wearing a mask. All he sees is a dense crowd over near the roulette tables. "Alright, she's probably over there. Let's just get her attention and then go to our room. If I can make eye contact, I'll make sure she remembers me enough to call me over tomorrow. I'll also try to use it to make her think you and I are high rollers that she's heard about." Sasuke murmurs his plans to me. I have to take a moment to grin to myself. Sasuke's really gonna help me. I can almost hear Shikamaru telling me to think about Sasuke's motives, but hey, I didn't doubt Sasuke before and I'm not gonna start now. We push through a thinner part of the crowd until we can see the woman who is obviously Lady Chance. Not only is everyone mesmerized by her, but she's got a gigantic pile of chips in front of her. Lady Chance is an attractive redhead that's decked out in lots of gold jewelry. Her black, low-cut dress keeps no secrets. The most interesting part of her appearance, though, is the ornate black and gold mask she wears on the left side of her face. So this is who Sasuke has to flirt with, huh? HMPH. Never mind, she's not that pretty. I'm not glaring, nope. I'm done, let's go. Sasuke orders and takes my arm and leads me to the wide velvet stairs in the back of the casino. "About time," I grumble, fiddling with my bracelet. "Good acting, Yusura Tankachi. You didn't even drool when you saw her." Though he's sort of praising me, he's still speaking dryly. "Actually, you managed to look jealous of her." Yeah, I didn't look jealous, stupid Sasuke. Once again, I have to pull myself together before my pouting draws too much attention. With some guidance from signs, we find our way to the room that Kakashi reserved for us. It's only after we change clothes that we notice there's only one bed. It's fairly large, though, so we only argue about it for a minute. "At least change back into your normal form," he asks, and I take a second to think about what could happen if someone were to come in. As though he read my mind, he takes the "Do Not Disturb" sign and hangs it on the other side of the door. Once he shuts it, I'm out of the transformation and sprawled on the bed. "Fine, but now you can't call me Diamonds or I'll punch you." I laugh quietly as Sasuke shakes his head at me. I don't know if it's the rush of being on a mission or what, but I feel playful. "Move, you're on my side of the bed," he orders with a dismissive flick of his hand. He's always so demanding. What I wouldn't do to melt him a bit. "You should be nicer to me, Spades, or I won't want to play with you anymore," I purr. It's really scary to hear my normal voice like that, seriously. It must have caught Sasuke off guard, too, since I can see a light blush forming on his neck. "Go to bed, Dobie. Preferably away from me," he hisses at me, but it's weak. "But Spades, I wouldn't want you to get cold," I drawl, weighing my voice down with as much suggestion as possible. Maybe I'm just hearing things, but I think Sasuke's breath just hitched. Of course, I did just move so that my warm breath is hitting his neck. Enough. Did Uchiha Sasuke just stutter? In order to escape my teasing, he bends in half with his legs laying flat. I slap his back jokingly before rolling over to my side of the bed. Once he's sure I'm on the other side, he flies under the covers with his back facing me. I knew it, that guy hates it when he's being made fun of. Though, I don't remember him getting so flustered when we were younger. Weird, that's the last thought I have before I'm opening my eyes in the morning. I didn't dream, which is how it usually is during missions for me. Speaking of missions, I turn back into Diamonds and get myself dressed before Sasuke's done showering. I get in there and figure out it was stupid of me to get into a dress before taking a leak. By lifting up the dress and letting go of a part of my transformation, I'm able to get ready for my debut as Big Dealer's new mistress. A gross shiver runs down my spine when I think about it, though I haven't even seen the guy yet. "Let's go, Diamonds," Sasuke says through the door, and I'm out in a second. We make the trek down to the casino hall. I'd have to be blind to not be able to see the flashing and clashing mess that's sitting on a throne. He's flanked by busty women serving him drinks or fanning him. The guy even has a jeweled cane with a carved die topper. Yup, this is Big Dealer, who definitely lives up to his name. His purple and green striped shirt looks like it's bursting at the seams. The buttons are holding on for dear life. To top it off, every single sausage finger is being choked purple by gold rings. Those fingers pinch and slap at every ass that passes by his throne. Do I really have to flirt with this guy? Fucking A. Sasuke splits from me once he sees Lady Chance's crowd, leaving me to approach Big Dealer alone. I strut up the long carpet up to the throne, secretly glad that I've had some practice in heels. Some part of me gets his attention, my baby blues, my golden hair, or maybe my fancy diamond choker? Nope, he's already staring at my tits. Damn, I knew this was going to be too simple. Well, who do we have here? He slurs, waggling an overgrown eyebrow at me. Oh no, you don't know me? I walk up much closer, laying one of my small hands on his knee. Bending over a little, I give him a fantastic view of my cleavage. Well, we just have to fix that, don't we? I'm Diamonds, and I know who you are. Big Dealer. I let my hand slide to his meaty thigh as I sensually form his name with my pouty lips. Well, I'd certainly like to get to know you better. My sweet, perhaps? Yeah, I'm sure you're just going to ask about my childhood, if your obvious boner's any indication. I know I'm strong enough to avoid getting violated, but that doesn't stop me from getting Sasuke's attention before following Big Dealer to his suite. His room is no different from ours, except for the addition of gaudy statues and paintings. Also, his bed is heart-shaped. This guy is as subtle as a kick to the crotch. You don't seem like a stupid girl. You know what I want, right? So, what's your price? I rack my brain, knowing that if I just ask for his mask, he might suspect something. Oh, I feel horrible for saying it, but I want to be your mistress. That Lady Chance, she's nothing compared to me, darling. My estate is worth 3 times as much as hers, but here she is, wearing that mask instead of me. I moan and run my hands over the front of his shirt. Oh, well, Big Dealer can have a few mistresses at once. I curse inwardly when he squeezes my ass. But she's the only one with a mask, I pout, pressing my ass against his even softer chest. This, in turn, also makes him harder against my leg. Honey, I could buy you as many masks as you want. Damn, this isn't going the way I planned. I probably have to take a more direct route. I don't want this to go on any longer. Okay, baby. So, are we going to play around? I ask with one eyebrow raised suggestively. Big Dealer chuckles before pulling me towards the bed. He lays down on it, then motions to have me come closer. Finally, I give my last idea a whirl. You know what really turns me on? I breathe, crawling up to him from the end of the bed, when my man relaxes and lets me do all the work. I just get so hot when I see a man tied to a bed. Oh, please. It'll be the best you've ever had, babe, I strain my voice with lustiness. Meanwhile, my insides want to be what lays on top of this jerk. Better puke than me. Fine, as long as it doesn't cost extra, he growls, pulling me on top of him. While he's slobbering all over my cleavage, I take a pillowcase and tie his hands behind the bars of his headboard. You know what else I like? I'm getting so damn tired of acting. Why? How do they keep it up for so long in porn? What? Come on, what? He grunts into my ass. He's starting to get impatient with me, but I've got him where I want him. I take his face in my hands and pull him away from my chest. Blindfolding my man is hot, too. I giggle and finally get that mask off of him and onto myself. I screech and fall back as strange chakra pumps into me. I whip it off and stare at Big Dealer, who got shocked into sleep by the sudden absence of the mask. I wish I could check his pulse to see if he's still alive, but I can't move my body where I want it to go for some reason. Everything feels so soft now, so nice. I just want to lay down. Or something, whatever, I have to find Sasuke. So foggy. That's the door, okay. I stumble out and fall straight into someone who smells very, very nice. Hey, babe, I have to keep up my diamonds act, right? Dobie, let go of me. I got the mask, we should get out of here. She fell asleep when I took it off. We were in her room, so no one saw. It's only a matter of time before someone goes looking for her. I know, alright, sure. I press myself into him until he's backed up against the wall. But why are we in a rush? It's nice here, isn't it? Such a nice place. His neck is so pale and smooth and soft, and it tastes good, too. Wait, wah. What the hell are you doing? Sasuke growls, pushing me away. I stumble and fall on my ass. The floor is a fluffy carpet, so I run my hands all over it. Oh, I feel like I could fall asleep on it. It doesn't take long for me to convince Naruto that we should sneak in and out of the village when we report our success to the elders. Throughout his entire recount of his time with Big Dealer, he's gagging and groaning about what he had to do. It's hard for me to keep a straight face through it, too, so I can't blame him for acting childishly disgusted. I avoided all contact with Lady Chance, so my report isn't nearly as cringe-worthy. Without even asking to check in with Sakura, Naruto leads us out of the village via the Hokage mountain. Dobi's silent, but I can't put my finger on what's wrong with him. I go for the obvious and say that he's bothered by the villagers hating him again, but he's not as easy to read as he used to be. Not that I have any particular need for reading him. Knowing what he's feeling isn't going to change what I do or say. How many times a day do you think of leaving me? Something like that, really? I figured something was wrong. But why torture yourself with the answer to that? Naruto has two settings when he's upset, I've learned. He's either immobile and dark, or pissed off and in my face. The latter is much more comfortable, despite the fact that I'd tear anybody else to pieces if they dared to get so close to me. Inevitably, if we're fighting, there's going to be eye contact and the grabbing of clothes. In this case, it's the headband around my neck and Naruto's jacket. It's important. His growl has improved over the years. Where there used to be whining, there's now rough malice. I feel myself smirking as my anticipation and excitement build. To you, maybe, my goading smirk and calm voice laced with contempt nearly send Naruto over the edge. He catches himself by gritting his teeth. That's just it. Nothing's important to you. You just do what you're told until you don't feel like it anymore. I've been waiting for that, Sasuke. We're going on our third trial together, so when is it going to happen, huh? When you know it's going to hurt the most? When I trust you, when I need you. He shoves me down with his other hand, but my grip on him brings him down, too. We don't miss a beat. He's kneeling between my legs, pulling me up by the metal of my headband. I'm regretting how I'm wearing this damn thing. When did you ever not trust me? And you always seem to need me, laughing sarcastically. I place both hands casually on the ground behind me and let my head loll back like I'm just looking at the sky instead of being strangled. Says the crazy asshole who nearly got himself put to death. He lets go of my headband suddenly, and pulls my arms out from underneath me. Shoving them above my head, I have his breath in mine again. So, you want thanks? A show of appreciation for all you've done for poor me? My control is snapping, and I become acutely aware of every brush against me and every growl I hear from him. Some of it's adrenaline, some of it's my Sharingan, but some of this awareness is coming from somewhere else. I want to know who the fuck you are. That's all I want. I've read your heart, felt your pain, and took the brunt of all of that damn hatred you had. And this is the result? Some selfish, empty shell? Naruto of the past would already be crying onto me, but this one looks like he could eat me alive. Selfish? I'm still helping you do these fucking trials, and you think I'm selfish? I growl, but I break our glare and face away from him. Maybe I am. I'm getting a few things out of these trials. For instance, I'm seeing just how fucked up Konoha still is. And if I find out I'm just a relic from a past that everyone wants to forget, I push up enough to speak directly into his ear. I'm gone, and so are you. It's a deal. He lets go of me and pushes himself up. I debate ignoring the hand that he offers to me, but I use it to pull myself up. Naruto knew what I was saying with the gesture. He tries to leave, but I don't let him go so fast. You're wondering who I am, aren't you? Well, I know one thing about myself for certain. I am different from you. Even if I don't have revenge, I still seek power. You don't want to show your strength to those people because you think they'll see you as a monster. But if you do nothing but preach, they will walk all over you. I'm done. I let him go. As we both come down from the high of fighting, Naruto smiles. We all have things we have to work on, don't we? He laughs and stretches the rest of his anger out. Aw, man. That was pretty intense fighting. I nearly bit you. What an idiot. Bite me? When I see the teasing glint in his eyes that I remember from when we were kids, I regret giving him an opening. Gripping my hair in one hand and untying my headband with the other, Naruto exposes my neck to him. I grab onto his shoulders, intent on pushing him away. Before I get that chance, he hisses like he's some idiotic Dracula and bites down near where my curse mark was. There was no preparing myself for the uncalled for addition of his tongue to my skin, or the harsh sucking that went along with his biting. It wasn't until he pulled away that I noticed I had screwed my eyes shut. Oops. I left a mark. I leave an equal mark on his cheek with a well-aimed punch. The hell was that, Dobby? I'm not liking my tone one bit. Not only is it hard to talk, there's no possibility for thinking straight. My blood was flowing out of my head and into my face, Naruto's mark on me, and also. This is getting to be too much like that night at the casino. I pick the direction of the inn and start running that way, willing my blood to move into my legs and out of places it shouldn't be. I make it back to the inn and into the bathroom only a few minutes sooner than Naruto. I have the shower running without me in it when he pounds on the door. Okay, look, I'll try to lay off of the teasing, alright? If you haven't noticed, I'm not the best at having normal conversations. Especially not with you. I can hear his loud sigh through the door that I'm leaning against. By the way, I'll put your clothes outside the door, seeing as you like to forget them when you go running into the shower. His footsteps trail off, and then I'm able to take a shower in relative peace. When I get my clothes off, I'm relieved to see that I've calmed down considerably. The cold water helps quiet the hypersensitive nerve endings all over my body. Playing the scene over and over again, I can't understand what made Naruto want to bite me. And not just that, the adrenaline from fighting will make anyone's body more aware. When Naruto is teasing, the effect on me is similar to that. It's a familiar rush, but with one crucial difference. If we're fighting, my body knows to prepare itself for battle, but in times when we're not arguing about anything, and he catches me off guard, my body has no focus. It has no clue what to prepare, or where to have my blood rush off to. Recently, it's taken a liking to going to the very places I never wanted to go. Blushing was bad enough, but I never expected I was going to have to bend in half to cover what Naruto's purring had done to me. No, I'm not bringing up memories of that again, no. Damn it, Naruto's teasing isn't new to me, and I had recognized the warning signs. Even when we were kids, he was always overly affectionate and playful towards everyone, including me. When he did it to Sakura, it was flirting. Whenever I wasn't in the mood to fight with him, he'd tease me. I say tease, because there wasn't and still isn't anything he can tease me about. If anything, it consisted of showing off that he can get into my personal space without being knocked out instantly. Back then, that meant throwing an arm around my neck or grabbing my hand and dragging me. My only reaction was to scoff at him and pull away. That was a lot easier back when Naruto was just playful. Now that I don't know his intent, I also don't know how to tell my body to react. And plus, he never gives any reasons for what he does to me. He'll just say he's teasing or that he just felt like biting me. I rinse myself off in icy water before drying off and retrieving the clothes he set outside of the door. The pile was topped by the headband that he had pulled off of me earlier so he could. No, a change of thought process is necessary, so I look at what I had been wearing. It wasn't my choice, but I used to have on a dark blue, long-sleeve Konoha shirt, complete with the red spiral on both arms. The pants were baggy and black, and the sandals were a standard blue pair. Ultimately, I felt like I was wearing pajamas a few sizes too big. This outfit that Naruto's picked out for me, however, has much more potential, and its color scheme is similar to my older outfits. What I thought for a moment was Enbu armor ends up being an armored, sleeveless turtleneck. It's a lighter shade of white than Enbu armor, and it has a black zipper running down the center. The black pants are a tighter, more fitting pair than the last ones. My sandals are the same as my old pair, so I tuck the bottom of my pants into them. Lastly, he threw in a pair of arm guards that cover as much as my last ones. Pulling it all on and trying the black headband around my throat, I see the result in the mirror. The only thing missing is a sword and a weapon belt, which should also be in the supplies. I managed to find a black weapon holster for kunai, so I wear it like a belt. When Naruto turns away from the counter and sees me, I catch him giving me a once-over. Now, that's a lot better. I let the Dobi be pleased with himself while I go searching for a katana. Unfortunately, they only gave us kunai and shuriken. Damn it. Hey, would you come here for a sec? Naruto's being sheepish, so it's not hard to assume that he's going to try to apologize for earlier. I humor him and stand in front of him, waiting for him to beg for forgiveness. Well, he does say sorry, but only when he's untying my headband again and unzipping my shirt. With my neck exposed again and my fist at the ready, Naruto only has a second before the walls get splatter painted. I just figured you wouldn't want the mark to be that bad, he said while placing a cold spoon against my neck. My fist relaxes as I roll my eyes at his logic. I'm wearing a turtleneck and a headband there, so I doubt it's ever visible, I point out, so Naruto just shrugs and continues pressing the spoon on my skin. Why? Hopefully he knows that I'm asking him why there's a mark in the first place, because I'm not going to ever say it out loud. Ah, well, he takes the spoon off and sets it on the table. You know, I didn't plan on doing anything but bite you. But you, spit it out, idiot. Wait, me? You made a sound when I bit you. I thought it was kind of funny, I growled at him, and he sputters, I was teasing you, that's all. But when you made that sound, I just kept trying different things. He rushes through his explanation, I was just getting you to make sounds. I made sounds? Like what? No, don't freak out. His hands fly out in defense. Nervously, he zips my shirt up and ties my head back on me while I glare at him. Really, they weren't weird sounds, I promise. They were just, well, just a little bit. He rambles on until he finds the word, encouraging. That's it. You think I was encouraging you? Naruto groans when he hears my hiss. I don't know what else to say, Sasuke. I'm sorry. What I did was weird and I swear I was just teasing. He runs a hand through his hair. But how I went from yelling at you to biting you, that just doesn't even make sense to me. Nothing about you makes sense to me, Dobie. We don't talk for about half an hour, and that's just to discuss the next trial. The ox trial is given to us by the innkeeper woman. The ox trial is given to us by the innkeeper woman. She isn't the one to tell us what it is, she just simply gives us a scroll that came addressed to us. It's a map to Lady Chance's home village and a vague description of our objective. A revolution? Naruto furrows his brow in concentration, finally taking something seriously. These things happen after wars. Well, mine did. I study the map and find that it's only 20 kilometers north from here. Aware that we're heading into a war zone, he and I pack shuriken and kunai into pouches. Under the cover of night, we travel through the trees and stop outside of sight. Though it's nearly midnight, there's a torch-wielding mob in the small square of the village. A grizzled man climbs the statue of a tree that stands in the center of the square. The Momiji clan has been oppressed for too long. We've pleaded with them to share the goods that come into this village, but they refuse to give us anything but their table scraps. The other clans couldn't hold out, but we will, and we will win. Naruto, who apparently can't ever see someone making a speech and not interfere with his own, flies from our hiding spot and lands on the roof of one of the shacks. How is attacking them going to make them want to help you out anymore? When Naruto speaks, the whole mob readies themselves for an attack. A ninja. Those fucking rich Kasiwa bastards hired you, didn't they? Do they really think that one ninja can take down my whole clan? He yells, but the rest of his people fall silent when I go to stand beside Naruto. Seeing my infamous eyes and Naruto's unique appearance, they realize who they're dealing with. Oh, so they didn't hire just normal ninja, huh? They're afraid enough that they've paid the big bucks for war heroes. With my eyes rolling, I set him straight. We're not hired. We were only told that there was a revolution here. Naruto and I are looking for something called the Golden Acorn. Where is it? I demand, but Naruto can't get past seeing them as the underdogs. If you help us, we'll talk to this Kasiwa clan for you and get this straightened out. There is no use for talking anymore. We're done talking to them and pleading with them. The crowd roars in agreement, but I'm already heading towards the compound that looks like it belongs to the Kasiwas. Sasuke, what are you doing? He grabs me before I can get too far. I'm going to ask the Kasiwas about this acorn. They're too busy playing war to help us, though as I say this, the man on the statue addresses me. Uchiha Sasuke, huh? That's you, right? I glance back at him when he says my name. Well, if you're looking for the golden acorn, we don't have it. It's just another Momiji relic that those fucking Kasiwas stole from us. They claimed that it was theirs, though it's been in our clan for centuries. Then I know where we're going. I pull away from Naruto and continue into the compound. Silently, I navigate through the polished halls until I find a room that's occupied. I slip in, unseen and unheard, and see the occupant of the room. It's an old man sipping tea. He's wearing an ornate kimono, so I assume he's one of the heads of the family. Without further delay, I press a hand against his mouth and a kunai to his throat. Must be nice to relax in here while there's a revolution outside. I whisper into his ear without letting him see my face. I'd rather not have to use my eyes. So why don't you just tell me where the golden acorn is being held and you can go back to having your house burned around you? So I can hear his response. I slide my hand down, but I remind him of the kunai against his throat. Once his mouth is free, he sucks in a big breath. Now, don't scream or you'll ruin your kimono. Sasuke, what are you doing to this old guy? Naruto wanders in without trying to be a ninja and decides to chastise me for actually doing something productive? You're a complete idiot, you know that? He's obviously one of the clan leaders, so it would make sense for him to know where that acorn is, I growl, turning back to face Naruto. Taking the opportunity, the old man pushes away the kunai and tries to run. I use the kunai to pin his kimono to the floor, and he trips when he's pulled back. Damn it, Sasuke, can't you see he's old? You're not supposed to trip old people. Naruto slaps the back of my head and goes to help the other guy up. I'm sorry, Gramps. Sasuke's not in the greatest mood for some reason. I'm Uzumaki Naruto, by the way. Do you mind telling me about what's going on outside? To hell with manners. The Momiji clan, they've been complaining about rations for a month now. We truly give them everything that we don't need. None of us understand why they can't just be happy with that. We're just a farming village. They just assume that since my granddaughter is making millions at casinos that we must have so much more. The old man is shaking like a small dog, so Naruto pats his hands gently. Lady Chance is your granddaughter? Sasuke and I just met her. Naruto meant to be comforting, but hearing the woman's name frightens him. Is she still alive? Did that man kill her? Sasuke? No, he didn't even touch her, promise. Naruto smiles, but the old man shakes his head. Not him. That man, that horrible man. Big dealer? No, she's his mistress. Nothing Naruto says calms the old man down. No, I don't even know who that is. Oh God, what if that man comes here? I'm getting tired of this man's rambling. Instead, I look at the decorations around the room. One piece in particular catches my interest, so I take it down from its mount. A katana, and one that's been cared for. Its holster is sleek and black, and its hilt has a crossing black ribbons that end with a carving of a hawk with ruby eyes. Trying the blade out on the paper door, I see that it's perfectly sharpened. After resheathing the katana and putting it on using the holster's strap, I turn back to Naruto to see if he's made any progress. Obviously not, since the old guy has fallen asleep. What, did you sing him a lullaby? I scoff and return the slap to the head that Naruto had given me earlier. Did you at least get the location of our objective? No, and shut up. This revolution's more important than getting that acorn. He stands up and crosses his arms. His excuse for a glare doesn't faze me. This fight is their business. Ours is getting that acorn. If we can just get the Momijis and Kashiwas to talk, we can stop them and then get the acorn in peace. Naruto argues back. There you go again, preaching of peace. Can't you see that nothing you say will help? The Momijis are stubborn, and the Kashiwas are too ignorant in their comfort to notice anything outside of these walls. They've already tried talking. Even if you have them explain their sides, the peasants won't believe that they aren't being oppressed, and the rich will never understand how hard it is to live on the outside. I haven't gotten closer to him, so I know we aren't really fighting. But if he says one more ignorant thing, I'll take some time out of doing this trial to kick his ass. They haven't tried with anyone unbiased around before. Maybe that's all they need. And we need to do it quick or else that mob is going to burn this place down. He's still trying to convince me, but that's even more fruitless than trying to convince these clans to understand each other. Preaching won't do anything. They've already decided on what they're doing. And so have the Kashiwas. Instead of screaming from the sidelines, these people need a real distraction right in the middle of their stupid game. So, what are you suggesting? Naruto asks, and I remind him clearly of what I said this morning. I'm suggesting that you start seeing things my way more. Your words are nothing if you don't have the power to back them up. You give me 2 minutes and I'll have this argument over. With that, I head out of the compound and go back to the Times Square. The Momiji clan is still gathered there, so I jump onto the top of the tree statue to get their attention. I've lost my patience with you idiots. Powering up a Chidori, I press my hand against the metal statue. The leader goes flying from the statue, unscathed but smoking. Now that I've gotten their attention, I need to get the Kashiwas out here. Activating my Sharingan, I leap straight up into the air. I hear a few screams from the crowd. Amaterasu. As the blood pours from my eye, a circle of black flames surrounds the small village. The screams from the Kashiwa compound are instant, and they're quickly running to the square, trying to get as far away from the fire as possible. They stop in a scared huddle when they see the mob. Kashiwas, you've abused us for too long. One of the Momiji men yell out, and the mob cries and starts running towards the other clan, but they stop before they reach the new line of fire I placed with another jutsu. That's enough. My voice overpowers all of theirs. Every pair of eyes stare up at me. Bad idea. The Tsukiyomi I use on the two clans are different from the usual tortuous nightmares. For the Kashiwas, I let them see for 72 hours what it's like to starve and work in fields and watch their children die from malnutrition and curable diseases. The Momiji's experience was harder to make, because I couldn't scare them by making them live the sheltered life of the Kashiwas. Instead, they're also starving and suffering because I have the Kashiwas not exist to buy the necessities for the village, the ones that they called table scraps. The few seconds it takes for the genjutsu is enough time for Naruto to reach me. He goes to punch me, but I dodge him and bring him near. His eyes are shut, which is a smarter move than expected for Adobe. I wasn't going to use it on you, idiot. Just watch them. I point to the awakening crowd. I put out the fire between them so they can see each other clearly. Brothers, the old man from earlier, who apparently was woken up and dragged here, speaks out. We promise, we never knew what you suffered. Brothers? Naruto asks, you're all related? We are cousin clans, yes. Generations ago, only the Kashiwas produced a male heir, so they got all the wealth and the Momiji clan became their workers. The Momiji leader speaks up, but without the rage from before. We can't fix our past transgressions. We can only offer our full support and help with the work that keeps this village alive. The Kashiwa elder approaches the Momiji leader and offers his hand. We've seen what would become of us if you were really oppressing us and giving us nothing. My clan felt underappreciated, but your support is what we didn't appreciate for what it was. If we work together, we could turn this village into something, especially if the other clans come back. They shake hands and Naruto's obviously pleased, but I'm not done. I pull the flames back from around the village, and whisper for Naruto to do his part. Using his abilities with wind chakra, he clears the smoke from the area so that the stars and moon brighten the village. Now, that's all great, but we need that golden acorn, I remind them, jumping down to face the two men. Nodding at me, the Kashiwa man calls over an old woman, his wife presumably, who pulls off her necklace and presents it to me. The golden acorn is the pendant of the necklace. Even in the dark it has an unearthly glow. Taking it into my hand, I feel the strange power locked inside it. Thank you, Uchiha Sasuke. The Momiji leader backs away from me and kneels on the ground. The Momijis follow suit, and so do the Kashiwas. I know what they're doing, but I don't believe it. When they bow to me, I take a step back and feel Naruto against my back. He puts his hands on my shoulders and whispers into my ear. That's one way of having people see the other side of things. A bit brutal, but it got them talking. You did good, Sasuke. His words are dripping with pride. He's proud of me? No, I was trying to make a point. Idiot. It's, you did well, not, you did good. I must be grasping at straws if I'm correcting his grammar. Yeah, but I mean what I said. What you did here is a good thing, so you did good. A good deed, or something like that. You're really starting to annoy me with your talking. During our reporting this morning, Naruto can't stop talking about me. The elders are surprised to hear my so-called good deed. Naruto rants for a good hour about how cool I looked, and he kept bringing up how they bowed to me. They were impressed the first time they heard it, but not the 23rd time. At least he's showing potential. Now, as we've said, we need to see the golden acorn, Kaharu demands from us, and I take the opportunity to shut the dobe up by giving them the pendant. Ah, there it is. Mitokado, prepare the destruction scroll, she says it so flippantly. Once again, just like the mask, we go through so much work just to have our objective destroyed. They place the golden acorn in the center of an open scroll, then make the tiger hand seal. The acorn melts, turns black, then turns into smoke. What the hell did you do that for? Naruto screams, beating a fist down on the table. You've completed the ox trial. What happens to the items you bring us shouldn't concern you, Mitokado assures Naruto, but that only works to piss him off more. To avoid needing their new table replaced, they try to change the subject. That's an interesting sword you have, Sasuke. The female elder makes it clear she wants to know who decided to arm the Uchiha with his best weapon. It was a gift of sorts from that village, I shrugged, not seeing any point to telling them I stole it. Looks good. Is that a hawk? Naruto's too easily distracted. Yeah, look, I'm ready to go. I sigh and stand up. nodding to the elders to excuse myself. Naruto quickly follows. Hey, before we go back to the inn, I want to show you something I found when I wandered around the town there. After the short run, he has us searching the streets for whatever he wants to show me. Once he finds it, he pulls me in and shows me a back corner of the store. I thought it was really weird to find it here, but it turns out that the owner of the store is named Uchiwa. The corner is full of the Uchiha symbol in various different color combinations and sizes. There are patches, posters, scrolls, and actual fans. Naruto digs through the assorted patches and finds one as big as his hand on the bottom. You're always putting it on your clothes, so I thought you'd want one. He shows the patch to me, and it's the same colors as my clan symbol. I thought you wanted me to get over that, I ask, but I take the patch from him and stare at it to see if there are any loose threads. No, I want you to remember that the past is the past. That doesn't mean that you aren't still Uchiha Sasuke. This is your symbol now, not the clan's. So, you should be able to wear it proudly. Dobi, I paused to sigh before looking up at his overly earnest smile, thanks. Anytime, Teme. Oh man, I'm smiling so damn much it's starting to hurt. Since I'm standing behind Sasuke, I can clearly see the Uchiha symbol that's sewn on his back. The patch that I bought for him, despite my poor Gama-chan wallet being so empty and sad looking. The very patch that he practically ran home to sew onto the shirt that I chose for him. Hell, while I'm at it, I can even admire his spiky hair that I cut. I'm doing a damn good job with putting Sasuke together. If I need any more proof that he's doing better, I just remind myself of the sheer awesomeness that was Sasuke stopping the revolution. Peacefully. And that's just the beginning of the changes I've seen in Sasuke. Every day, I see him develop little quirks and habits. Like when he eats, he'll pay attention to the order that the food was made and eat it in the same order. Probably something to do with freshness or some other kind of picky bullshit, but hey, if that's his personality, that's fine by me. Another quirk is that he has to be outside for at least 3 hours or he gets cranky and can't sleep. If I know that he hasn't been outside much that day, I'll send him out to pick up things from the store or push him out to go train. Are you still staring at my symbol or can I get up? Yeah, he's still a sarcastic, I know that'll never change. Oh, go ahead. I was just looking cause I think it's just a little lopsided, teasing mode, start up. No, it's not. Sasuke's at the door to the bathroom when I break down and start laughing at him. Oh fuck, he's so easy. Yeah, you're right. I gotta tell y'all, I choke out, no, really. You'd be staring at it in the mirror for hours, and I gotta piss sometime. TCH, oh, come on now, Sasuke, use your big boy words. That sends me into another fit of laughter. Sasuke crosses his arms and raises an eyebrow at me, his standard, you're teasing me, and I know it, but I'm not going to acknowledge it, though by doing this I am acknowledging it, pose. Damn, Sasuke, please don't be a perfectionist. You'll drive me nuts as my assistant. Okay, deep breaths, calm down or he'll rip me a new one. But, I just can't stop. I'm not a perfectionist, he says it flatly, but his pouting is giving him away. Oh really? Tell that to me when you're making me redo all of my reports because of my sloppy handwriting. Being a perfectionist takes effort. You're not a perfectionist if you're automatically perfect. I back the hell up because that's some serious Sasuke logic there. I fall on my ass and burst into another fit of manly giggles. This guy, how is he so funny without even trying? Sasuke, oh man, I can't breathe. My laughter stops dead when I hear something from Sasuke. What was that? I'm grinning still, but my eyes are narrowed at him. When he sees my look, the hand that's covering his mouth whips down. What? He resumes his cross-armed defensive position. No, come on, what was it? I mimic him and cross my arms, and then I get close enough that our arms nearly touch. I'm giving him my patented Uzumaki stare down, which has a success rate of 115%. It was just, HN. That's all, he doesn't let himself break eye contact, but he doesn't know that's one of his usual signs of bluffing. Nah, I swear it was more than just one. I distinctly heard two sounds. You might have been all, HN, but there was another sound. Like a, hey, or something. That's a laugh. Once I say it, Sasuke shakes his head stubbornly, but just once. Come on, you were funny. What you said was funny, so you laughed, admit it. I push my arms against his once before putting my hands on my hips. It's what he usually does when I say something stupid. What's it like to be a ninja with hearing problems? He's pouting, so I know I only have a few more minutes of good teasing time left before he punches me or runs away. Sorry, didn't hear that. I'm too busy wondering if I could get to you laugh again. Are you ticklish? I jump him, pushing him to the floor and sitting on him to pin him. He obviously has no clue what the hell I'm doing, since his face is a hilarious mask of shock. With the precious seconds I have left, I shove my hands up his shirt and start tickling his sides and his stomach in random patterns. Stop. No. Naruto. Off. He starts clutching at my hands, but I'm moving them around too fast for him to be able to get a grip on me through his shirt. I pull my hands out and grab his ankle. I'm not stupid enough to try to tickle the feet of a ninja who's into kicking, so I just pull his ankle up and out a bit. I use my other hand to tickle the underside of his knee. Jackpot. He's not laughing, but his face is bright red and his protests turned into yelps and screams. I do it to his other leg and tears are forced from his eyes. Temporary Sasuke POV. Damn it. Shut up, body. Shut up. Fuck 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 fuck. Now back to our beloved Naruto POV. No. He cracks his head against the floor. I assume it was so he could collect himself and do something to get me to stop, seeing as the next things I feel are his knees against my sides. He whips me on my back and quickly gets out from under me. He curls himself into a tight ball once he's free. Well, it was fun while it lasted. I stand up and stretch before ruffling his hair as a last tease. He growls wordlessly, which just makes me chuckle a bit. He refuses to speak to me again until we get our next trial, but it's not really something I want to hear. All I did was put my hand on his shoulder so I could read over it, and suddenly he's on the other side of the room glaring at me. What the hell is wrong with you? Why are you always touching me? My hands fly up in defense. I don't really know, so it takes me a while to think of an answer. Just teasing, I'm just teasing you. I spit out. Teasing? Teasing has nothing to do with touching. Keep your fucking hands to yourself for once in your life, you dumbass. He throws the trial scroll at me. You weren't even half this bad when we were kids. I don't get why it bothers you so much now. It's rare to see Sasuke so hysterical. I really must be pushing him to his limits if he's this vocal. Of course it bothers me, you idiot. When you aren't pinning me, you're stripping me or you have your mouth all over me. You breathe against my neck constantly. Who wouldn't be bothered by that? When it's put that way it's a little strange, but what's so wrong about it? Oh, right, I flounder for a second, but I finally come up with some stupid excuse. I learned it from Sai. So you tease him like this, too? Good news, he's not screaming anymore. Bad news, his hiss is scarier. At least he's taking my lies seriously. Yeah, totally. All the time, whenever we're together. Good, just nod a couple times and he'll relax. He's not familiar enough with Sai to know that he'd rather tease me with questions about my than do what I do. I just go along with it, what else can I do? That's the last thing he says to me until we get to the location of the tiger trial. I never got the chance to read the trial, so when I find myself in some creepy-ass, foggy forest, I decide it's about time to ask. So, what's our objective, Sasuke? We're leaping through the trees, but we're not high enough to be out of the thick fog. I make sure I can see him at all times. We have to search the murdered scientist's abandoned mansion and find a vial of green liquid that's emitting purple smoke. Oh, you've gotta be kidding me. There's no way in hell I'm going to a place like that. I come to a full stop in seconds. Sasuke gets just a bit further before noticing that I stayed back. You're not afraid, are you, Bibiri-kun? I twitch at the familiar taunt, but now is not the time for skipping merrily down memory lane. The trial is asking me to go straight to a doomed and tortured existence for all eternity. Have these people never watched any horror movies? How are you totally fine with going there? That place is guaranteed to be haunted in the worst kind of way. There's going to be demons and ghosts and monsters and murderers all over the goddamn place. Now who's the idiot here? I fling my arms out, because if Sasuke hasn't already noticed the nearly perfect horror movie conditions, he sure as hell needs to. Still you, he shakes his head and turns to continue running, but I grab onto him and make him stay on the branch. Oops, kind of forgot the whole, no touchy thing. The stare of death I get from Sasuke isn't as scary as being torn apart by the ghost of a mad scientist, so I'm not fazed. Are you so freaked out that you've lost your mind, Dobi? Tami's hissing again, so I know to give him a little room. Insult me all you want, asshole. When you're getting eaten by the demon spirit of this crazy, evil scientist, don't try asking me for help. Okay, mental images here are very unnecessary, brain. Can we forget the chains, at least? No? Fucking A. I have nothing to worry about. Don't ghosts go for the blondes first? I let out a stream of curses while glaring at Sasuke, hoping that he can translate that into my refusal to move from this spot. Once he does, he lowers his head and sighs in that, "You're such an idiot," way. Placing his hands on my shoulders, Sasuke locks eyes with me. If you're going to be Hokage, the problems you're going to have to deal with every day will be much more frightening than ghosts. Not to mention, these problems will be real. I'm pretty pathetic right now if someone who barely speaks is giving me a pep talk. Well, it's a pretty effective talk, actually. Geez, I must be rubbing off on him more than I thought. Speaking of rubbing, I start grinning at Sasuke. One questioning eyebrow flies up, so I'm pretty sure he thinks I'm smiling about his little speech. I'm going to have fun clearing that up. Guess what, Sasuke tilde? You're touching me. Ha, his face. Going for gold, I place my hands on his waist. The fist smashing into my face is probably well deserved. I hope you like my version of touching, he growls before flying off. I debate chasing him, but he brought up becoming Hokage. This is something I have to do to finish these trials, so I follow him. Thankfully, he doesn't just barge into the mansion when we find it, so I'm able to delay the horror. If I die here, I will haunt you forever. And if you die, I'll make the afterlife hell for you. My threat is a bit weak since my voice breaks in the middle of it. All I get from him is a short scoff. I know damn well from my horror movie watching to not be the one standing in the back, so I run ahead of Sasuke when he walks through the spiked gate. He's acting like we're strolling through a sunny park when we're in the middle of the overgrown courtyard from hell. We walk around a pants-shittingly creepy fountain that has crying cherubs being attacked by some thorny ivy, both in the statue and by the actual plant. When we finally make it to the mansion's gigantic entrance, I cringe at the horrible lion door knockers. How about some ding-dong ditch, Sasuke? You first, I joke bitterly. Now that I'm resigning to my fate, I might as well make my death funny. Before we go in, we should plan a course of action for our search. We can do a quick sweep of the first level for any signs of a laboratory. If we find nothing there, we should check the basement. From my personal experience with mad scientists, it's the most likely place to find a lab. While he's busy plotting out what we do, I'm staring at him in disbelief. The basement? I slap my hand over my eyes and drag it away slowly. Remember what I said about you getting eaten by a demon? Well, I was wrong. Why should you worry if you're just gonna serve yourself up in chains? Chains weren't mentioned, Dobie. With that, Sasuke pushes against the door and disappears into the house. No fucking way I'm being left alone, so I run straight in and slam against him. He didn't move much past the entrance because of the vase pieces scattered in the hallway. Dust covers everything, the wallpaper is peeling, and there are tons of cobwebs. I mean, why the hell does this have to look like the perfect setting, huh? I'm assuming we're not splitting up to search? And I'm assuming that we're not planning on being totally batshit insane. I meant to scream, but it only comes out as a harsh whisper. He steps around the shards, and I run ahead of him again. Let him be the one who gets ripped away from behind. Wait, then the ghost would just come to get me next. Damn it, I hope they like pretty, pale bastards that already look like ghosts. That'll buy me some time to get the hell out of here. Never mind about that one part. With no warning, there's a horrible cracking sound behind me, then a huge crash. Fuck, Sasuke screamed. Oh shit, shit, shit. I turn around as fast as possible. Sasuke's not there, but there's a huge hole in the floor from where the demon must have grabbed him. The demon has Sasuke. Fucking A. You know that thought that comes to you a split second after you do something really stupid? I got one of those when I was about halfway through jumping in the hole. At least it's not a long fall, and I land on something soft. Once the dust around me clears, I see that the something soft was Sasuke. Oh, hey, there's no demon. I smile brightly at him when he opens his eyes. But something's off. His eye color, maybe? They're a weird kind of pink or something, but it's a bit hard to tell in this lighting. It's almost like the whites of his eyes bled some of their color into his red irises. Sasuke makes this weird groan, which I take as a cue to get off him. I must have been wrong. Sasuke? Are you crying? Why into my neck? Ah, are you hurt, or just? I mean, what's wrong? Sasuke? The more I say, the tighter his arms hold me. He's not really sobbing, but it's too pathetic sounding to be normal. What if he has something stuck into his back? What if he's dying? I pull him up to me quickly so I can see if his back is being stabbed. No, it's a bit dusty and a few stitches from his patch have come loose, but nothing's pierced. Clutching for me again, Sasuke scrambles to sit on my lap. As hard as I try, he won't pry his face away from my neck, so I have to hold him away from me by his shoulders. Sasuke, what's gotten into you? A deep blush colors his cheeks and his weird eyes flit away from me. I'm just so happy, what the hell? Sasuke never talks so with so much breath? Did I really knock so much wind out of him that he can't even talk right? Or, what if he hit his head? I start checking him for any bleeding in the back of his skull. Apparently, he sees this as what I called encouragement before. It's as hard to get Sasuke's lips off of mine as it was to get him away from my neck. As a last resort, I could punch him to get him away, but I'm too shocked to move that much. His kisses are desperate and, well, passionate. Playful, too. He just bit my lip. If I'm completely honest, he's not a bad kisser at all, but whatever. I mean, this doesn't make any damn sense. Whatever happened to the whole, no touchy thing? What the hell is that? It's kind of like his tongue? So, did you ever have those split-second, wow I'm dumb thoughts within minutes of each other? Yeah, it was about when I felt Sasuke's tongue against mine that I had another. Opening my mouth in shock was not my best idea. Now I can't even punch him away or he'll bite his tongue. Well, he has to breathe sometime, right? That's it. If I can prevent him from breathing too much, he'll pull away. Now, how to do that? His tongue is way too distracting, it just keeps flicking and rubbing and… oh, right, duh. Fighting against his busy mouth, I get my tongue far into his mouth. He goes completely nuts with it for a short time, but he pulls away as planned. We're both gasping for breath, and our lips are red and shining. Getting a grip on myself, I fly up and try to find something to put between us. Luckily, there's a table covered in beakers right behind me. I jump behind it when Sasuke picks himself up from the floor. This weird-ass guy dusts himself off while giggling. Something's really fucked up if the Uchiha is giggling. Maybe I am in hell. But, where are all the demons and fire and monsters? Darling, you're always playing with those silly beakers. Why would you do that if you could be playing with me? Sasuke flounces towards the table and sweeps an arm over it, sending all the beakers crashing to the ground. My eyes hurt from the dust flying into them, but I can't help but hold them wide open to watch Sasuke. He crawls onto the table, one leg, then the other. His eyes give me a slow look from my hair down to, what? What the hell has gotten into you, Sasuke? While staring at my crotch, he licks his lips and comes closer to me slowly. You can experiment on me all night, sweetheart. Sasuke's eyes flick up, and I'm frozen in place by his expression. He's biting his lip while smirking, his cheeks are lightly flushed, and there's a playful glint in his eyes. I just can't take it. While I'm distracted, one of his hands flies to my zipper and pulls it down. Just relax, doll, and my mouth will do the rest. He's not really going to, oh hell. I'm out of that room before Sasuke's other hand can make it into my pants. I zip up as I race through the rooms, ignoring whatever's in any of them. Frankly, I don't give a damn. Sasuke wanted to, just now. I'm in the spookiest house ever and the scariest thing in it is a horny Sasuke. Shutting 5 doors behind me should be enough for now, so I stop to see where I am. I try to look, but this room has an eerie purple haze that's coming from who knows where. There are beakers around this room too, and some other weird tubes and burners and scientific doohickeys that I don't know the names of. Well, though it took falling through the floor, we found the bastard's lab. He must have had way too many experiments going on at once to need so many different workrooms. Did this guy ever leave his basement? Where are you? He's starting to sound annoyed. Oh, damn it. You have too many rooms down here. Sasuke's voice is coming from a few rooms behind me, but he doesn't seem to be moving fast. Quick, I need to barricade the door. You're not just a scientist. You're a human being, too. And humans need love and socialization to survive. You're smart enough to know that. You're going to waste away in these labs if you don't come out to play. Nothing that Sasuke says makes sense to me. He keeps calling me a scientist and using weird science-related pickup lines. So, 3 strikes. It's official, I'm a dumb ass. It took me this long to remember what I was even doing here in the first place and who died in here. The scientist guy, that's who Sasuke is talking about. But, why like this? I had found a heavy table to use as a barricade, but Sasuke's kicks are too strong. The door flies off its hinges and lands down on the table. Why are you running away from life? From love? He shoves the door towards me, and it would have hit my stomach if I didn't jump away in time. Why are you running away from what I don't have anymore? Anymore? I'm still not fully understanding, but I don't feel like he's talking to me. I died from loneliness, because you loved your experiments more than me. You forgot about me, you bastard. He's crying again, but this time it's heart-wrenching sobs. I loved you. Why did you let me die all alone? Was I just a mistress to you? Mistress, my mistress? No, not mine. Could it be possible that Sasuke's being? Well, that explains everything. Who are you and why are you using Sasuke? I yell at this. Mistress, that's somehow controlling Sasuke. I was yours, that's who I was. He crawls over the table and drops to the floor. He's crying at my feet and clutching at my legs. It pulls at something deep in my chest. All I want to do is hold him and let him know I'm here. However, this isn't Sasuke. I have to remind myself of that every time I see his pained expression. I steel myself so I can speak to the one inside him. No, you weren't. I'm Uzumaki Naruto. I'm a ninja, not a scientist. The scientist who lived here was murdered. It took a few gasps and head shakes, but the girl possessing Sasuke seemed to finally see who I was. My Kemi was murdered? Sasuke's body goes limp, but then he starts shaking. I'm sorry, it happened years ago. So, please move on and let Sasuke have control of himself again. Your Kemi, he must be waiting for you. I run my fingers through Sasuke's hair to comfort the spirit inside of him. No, that's impossible. He didn't want me around when we were alive, so why would he want me in the afterlife? Sasuke's voice is weak and strangled with tears. This guy, I start, carefully picking my words. This is too important to mess up. He must have been really dedicated to his work. It was his dream, right? I'm going somewhere with this, so I kneel down and hold Sasuke's shoulders again. People go after their dreams and sometimes, without trying, they can end up hurting those closest to them. Time that could be spent with the ones they love is used on chasing that dream. For people like that, it can take a lifetime before they see what they've done. I'm not really liking how much this can apply to me, or even Sasuke in the past, but I let the words flow from me. Do you think that, maybe, he knows now? Sasuke sniffs and wipes his eyes. Pink eyes shift to me again, and for once, they look hopeful. It's all or nothing now. I'm sure he knows. He's probably regretting how he treated you. I promise, he'll never think of neglecting you again. Actually, I doubt there's any labs there, so you'll have his full attention. I smile as brightly as I can. A little smile pulls on the corners of his mouth, too. He even chuckles a bit before talking. Oh, that silly man is probably bored out of his mind. He sighs and wipes his face with a hand. He might have been a genius, but he was a real idiot. I'm sure he'll love to hear that. I joke and ruffle his hair again. It's another successful speech. Yeah, but at least he was my idiot. He laughs one last time before his pink eyes darken to red. They close as he collapses in my arms. An orb of light forms in front of his chest before flying up into the air. Knowing that it's her, I wave goodbye. After a few moments of worrying, Sasuke stirs and his eyes flutter open. Naruto? His voice is back to normal, albeit confused. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Sasuke's back. Yeah, I'm still here. No monsters have gotten to me yet. Laughing, I sweep the hair out of his face. The glare I get in return tells me that this is definitely Sasuke. Oi! The glare vanishes and is replaced with a raised eyebrow. Whatever happened to leaving me to the ghosts? Well, I need you to complete this trial and become Hokage, like you said. So, that's why I saved you. I smiled down at him, but in doing that I notice that I'm still holding him. Well, he can stay, I guess. I mean, why should I shove him off if we're perfectly comfortable like this, somehow? There was nothing to save me from, you idiot. It's probably your fault that the floor caved in, anyway. You were stomping all over the place in front of me. Don't try giving me any shit, Sasuke. I was right about this place being haunted and you didn't believe me. You thought you were so smart for not believing in ghosts, but everyone knows that it's the skeptics that get possessed. Dobi, what happened to me? He's demanding to know, but I know hell would break loose if he knew. Trust me, you don't want to know what you did while you were possessed. It took me a little bit to figure out, but it was pretty obvious that you weren't in control. The scientist's mistress was using you to talk to me. Yeah, talk. Sure, I was possessed by a ghost? That's ridiculous and impossible, he scoffed. Seeing that he's in my arms, he pulls away and sits up straight. Without his heat, I have to cross my arms against the cold basement air. Alright, be that way. If you want to take responsibility for shoving your tongue down my throat, be my guest. It's not the smartest thing I've said, but he's annoying me. Why does he have to be so close-minded, huh? I did what? He's way past the hissing stage and well into his, I'll tear your throat out with my teeth, growling stage. Oh, you want me to go into details of how you jumped me? It's just my bad luck that you'd end up getting possessed by some horny ghost. It's a good thing he hasn't recovered entirely or else he'd be jumping me again. This time, it would be to kick the ever-living shit out of me. You're fucking with me. Sorry, I didn't take up your offer earlier. Obviously, I would have been able to prevent myself from screwing the possessed Sasuke no matter how much he begged for me to play with him. Oi, stupid brain, what did I say about those mental images, huh? Don't bring those memories up right now. Fucking A, this is serious. He stays quiet and still for 5 minutes straight. Bored of him, I start searching around the room for any sign of our objective. Which was what, by the way? Too much weird stuff happened, I totally forgot what it was. Yo, Sasuke? What are we supposed to be finding? I ask quietly, hoping that he's gotten over it by now. He's still giving me the silent treatment, so I ask louder. A vial. Green liquid, purple smoke, he grumbles. Nope, he's not over it yet. I kind of figured he'd be like that. If anybody can hold a grudge, it's Sasuke. Thing is, I didn't do anything to him. Yeah? Well, good luck finding it in here. This stupid haze is too thick, I can't see anything. It's purple, maybe falling through the floor did mess him up, because he can't seem to talk normally. Thank you, Captain Obvious, but can you do something more useful? Like, get up and help me? You idiot, the haze is purple. The vial we're looking for is emitting purple smoke. He stands up and starts searching the room. I'm saying it's in here somewhere. Look for where the smoke is thickest and don't stir it around too much. After 10 minutes of searching, Sasuke finds the vial on a shelf that's built into the corner of the room. Alright, so what do we do with this one? Sasuke doesn't know either, so he hands me the vial. He pulls trial scroll out of one of his pouches and unfurls it. The purple smoke prevents me from reading it myself, so I just watch Sasuke's eyes scan it. It says you're supposed to drink it, Naruto. Sasuke rolls the scroll up while I complain loudly about how there's no way in hell I'd drink that. No fucking way, never, nah, not going to happen. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. They're trying to kill me. I nearly pour it on the floor, but Sasuke's hand stops me. Drink it, Naruto, I'm about to protest, but he speaks over me. We'll go to Ichiraku after reporting. We'll take the risk of being in Konoha for too long if you just do what the scroll says. It's either death or ramen, but my chances seem good enough to me. I down it all in one gulp. Huh, I feel fine. Of course, that's only until the gut-wrenching pain starts and makes me drop to my knees. When I scream, I hear Kyuubi's roar in it, too. Whatever that shit was, it's hurting both of us. It feels like salt being poured into a huge wound in my stomach. I scream until I can't breathe, and I feel myself slipping. Naruto, don't you dare. Sasuke, don't I dare do what? Die? Right, I can't die here, are you kidding me? Focus, come on, wake up. Wake up, wake up already. Sasuke shakes me until I open my eyes. All I can do is weakly laugh and breathe slowly for a while. Once I can move, I shakily stand up by using Sasuke for support. We better, I gasp for breath. We've got to get out of here so I can beat the shit out of those elders. Despite my threats, they don't tell me why they made me drink it. The only thing they do is tell me the name of Kemi's mistress. She was Kasiwa Mona, so she was from Lady Chance's village. In fact, they tell us that Mona was her mother, and that the scientist was probably her father. Though I'm the one who brings her up, I make sure to leave out the part where she possessed Sasuke. When they ask how I know about the mistress, I lied and said that I found a bra in one of the rooms we searched. We are dismissed after I tell them the rest, so Sasuke and I are free to sneak into Ichiraku's. Old man Tucci. I greet my favorite chef loudly when I take my seat, but I'm actually worried as hell. What if he's heard the rumors and believes them? Why, if it isn't Naruto? I've heard some weird stuff about you lately, so I was wondering where you were off to. I sigh in relief when I hear that his kind voice is unchanged. You brought a friend, Naruto-kun? Ayame is behind the counter, too, and she's already staring at Sasuke. Don't you remember the Uchiha boy that Naruto always talked about? Tucci asks Ayame, making him the third person to yell out in front of Sasuke that I talked about him. Did I really mention him that often? Oh, yes, now I remember. It's Sasuke-kun, right? When he nods, Ayame blushes coyly. Tucci butts in by asking us for our order. Sasuke doesn't eat ramen ever, but he shrugs and just gets what I order. One large miso ramen with extra meat, come to Papa. I'm almost done with my second bowl before Sasuke's even through the toppings of his first. I hear the curtains flap behind us, so I turn to see who came in. If it's some crazy theorist again, they better be prepared for a fight. Naruto-kun? Sasuke-kun? Okay, maybe not if it's Hinata. It would be like kicking a puppy. Whatever, I doubt she's here to call us fags like that drunk guy. Besides, Sakura told me none of the rookies believe the theories. Hinata, long time no see. I pat the stool beside me. She nervously sits herself in the chair and meekly orders a small vegetarian bowl of ramen. Something seems to be on her mind, but I continue slurping on my noodles. It usually takes her a few minutes to get up the courage to speak. The theories are. Hinata gets scared when I look over at her, so I smile at her encouragingly. She gulps and tries again. They aren't true, but Kiba-kun, he's not sure. I have tried to reason with him, but Kiba-kun is. She's always trailing off, but I can fill in her thoughts. A stubborn ass, I know. No, Sasuke and I haven't been planning world domination, and I'm not some evil genius disguised as an idiot. Obito pulled that off with acting like Toby, but I doubt I could have done that for my whole life. I shrug and return to my food. Those aren't the theories he believes, Naruto-kun. He thinks, it was just that 1R rumor. She has to look away for a moment to collect herself. She's gotten much better at speaking to me since she confessed, but I can tell that she's always going to be shy around me. Which one? Sasuke decides to be the one to ask. I know it involves him, but why would he be so curious about what rumor Kiba believes? Sasuke-kun, he suspects that you and Naruto-kun, that you've been together since we were 12. If her voice gets any smaller it would disappear. Since I'm right next to her, I hear every weird thing she says. And is he the only one who suspects that? There he goes again. Why the hell does it matter? No. Honestly, I'm probably the only rookie left, other than Sakura-chan, who doesn't. I'm surprised when she forces her white eyes to look at Sasuke's Sharingan. Sadly, she gets scared off just because Sasuke raises an eyebrow. Okay, Sasuke and I weren't dating when we were kids, I promise. I laugh and suck down the last of my second bowl. I wasn't sure, Naruto-kun. For a moment, I was even happy about the idea. Earth to Hinata, start making sense. She screws her eyes shut and clutches her knees before spitting out the rest of what she's trying to say. I thought that if you felt that way about Sasuke-kun, then you didn't really reject me. I started putting pieces together. I heard that you let the lightning ninja beat you up because you didn't want to tell them about Sasuke. Then, when Sasuke was declared a target, you rushed out of the village. You came back and insisted on being the only one to fight him, so everyone assumed that you were protecting him. I confessed, but you never. All because Sasuke was more important to you. If I thought of it that way, it didn't hurt so much. I was torn between gaping at her and staring at Sasuke, whose Sharingan is spinning for some reason. I can't even follow what she was even thinking. I came here to ask if you two are together now, since you chose Sasuke-kun as your assistant and he's still here. No, we're not. Lucky you. Here, have your first date with this idiot. Without even coming close to finishing his ramen, Sasuke stalks off. I get up to chase after him, but I need to pay for the ramen. I fumble with Gamma to get out the yen while apologizing to Hinata. I'm sorry I hurt you. I was so wrapped up in the whole Sasuke thing and then the war. Plus, I had no idea what to say other than thank you. I slow down for emphasis. I mean it, thank you. I know it's a bit weird to say, but you reminded me of myself. The things you said about wanting to walk with me and how you were always watching me, I ended up telling Sasuke the same things. I made him my rival just because I wanted to be him. Every time I saw him alone, I wanted to talk to him and have him acknowledge me. There you go talking about Sasuke again. Tuchi's hearty laugh bursts from the kitchen, and I finally see that I'm jabbering about the bastard without even registering it. Damn, I'm probably hurting her even more. No, she's smiling at me for some reason. I'm sorry, Hinata. I shouldn't be talking about him, this is about you and me. You're a really important friend to me, and She interrupts me by laughing a bit. What? Just go after him already, I'll be fine. Her smile grows, and I know that she's not just putting up a front. It's probably the first time I ever heard her not mumble or stutter. I guess things are cleared up between us, which is great. I plant a quick kiss on her forehead before yelling goodbye to everyone. Leaving the girl who loves me behind, I chase after the bastard. Wait, what the hell? Something's a bit backwards here. I guess I don't really mind. It feels right. Go back, Dobi. Sasuke snaps without looking at me. He's jumping even faster through the trees, so I have to really push it to keep up. What? Sasuke, I'm not dating her. He slows down just long enough for me to grab him. Before he can protest, I pull him down to sit on the branch with me. I can't really place his expression. His eyebrows are furrowed like he's annoyed, but his eyes aren't angry and his lips aren't pressing together. She confessed to you. Yeah, well, so did Sakura, and you don't see us together either. Sakura? He's surprised? It kind of pisses me off. Girls can like me, too, you ass. Yeah, it was just her attempt to get me to forget about you and think about my own safety. I rejected her pretty fast once I saw through it. I shrug while Sasuke works it out in his head. Why? Why what? Why did you reject both of them? For the last time, I didn't reject Hinata. For crying out loud, she had just jumped in front of pain. At the time, those were her final words, so she just got out everything she was feeling. Hinata's not stupid. Nobody would ask someone out if they thought they were about to die. I try to lighten the mood by talking like a snobby girl. Yeah, I think you're totally hot and amazing and super awesome. Can we date? Yeah, I know I could totally die right now and all, but like whatever, right? Sasuke stays silent and doesn't change expressions, so I keep on trucking. I stop talking like a snob though, because that shit's creepy to hear coming from me. Then I had to go deal with you and the war. Even if she asked me out, it would have been pointless. That goes for Sakura, too. While that makes relative sense, which is surprising coming from you, why didn't you date anyone while I was in prison? Easy enough question. For the same reason I didn't know you were in Konoha's prison. I barely saw anybody when I was training to become Hokage, and I never thought of anything else. Fair enough, he stands up on the branch, and I follow suit. We start making our way to the inn, but Sasuke still has some questions. What did you say to Hinata? It took you a while to get to me, so I assume you two talked? I apologized, and then I thanked her. I wanted to tell her that she's an important friend and she always will be, but she interrupted me. That's unlike her. I know. She told me to go after you already and that she'd be fine. She told you to what? What the hell is up with this guy? It's either silence or questions. I sigh harshly before repeating myself. To go after you. Sasuke stops for no reason, so I turn back. What did I say? As in? What do you mean, as in? You aren't making sense at all. The people who decided that Uchihas were geniuses were probably high off their asses. That could mean two things, you idiot. Either she was telling you to chase me down, or she meant. Sasuke interrupts himself before he says it. What? I'm tired of all these people who can't get a sentence out without stopping. Or she was telling you to date me, you idiot. TCH, he pauses to regain his composure. Whatever you said made her think that the rumor was true. And if Hinata believes it, even Sakura is going to start wondering. As long as they don't think we're evil, I couldn't care less what other rumors people start believing. I'm just pointing out that it's already hard enough for you to get a girl interested in you. Not a single one will try if they think they'd be competing against me. Nobody would be stupid enough to try to take something that belongs to an Uchiha. What? I don't belong to you. If anything, you owe me so much that it should be your ass that belongs to me, Teme. It takes me a second to notice the other insult, and, hey. It's not that hard for me to get girls. I was the village hero, they were lining up at my door. You didn't date any of them? I told you, I didn't have any time because of training. Yet, you somehow found the time to be all over Sai? The hell are you talking about? I wouldn't touch Sai with a 10-foot katana. He's a creep. Why am I being punched for saying that? When I jump back up in branches, I glare back at Sasuke. You told me you'd teased each other all the time. Fuck a duck, I'm caught, aren't I? Okay, so maybe not all the time. I gave myself one day off to hang out with Shikamaru or Sakura, and sometimes Sai would tag along. He usually makes a weird comment, and I kick his ass. That doesn't matter. You lied to me. I'm the only one you touch, aren't I? Why? Look, I'm sorry that I get in your personal space all the goddamn time. It's just that you were the first person who didn't push me away the second I got close. I yell loudly enough to scare all the birds out of the trees around us. Their flapping keeps us silent for a few long seconds. When they clear, I jump over to the thick branch he's standing on and land with my left hand on his right shoulder, just like how he did 2 years ago. Last time I checked, you didn't mind getting into my space, either. His eyes flash with recognition. After a few tense moments, Sasuke sighs and relaxes. I should have known it was impossible for you to follow a simple order like, don't touch me. You know me, I'm not the best with orders, I laugh, and he rolls his eyes at me. Fine, do what you want. Just prepare yourself for the consequences if you go too far. Yes, Sasuke is defeated. Ha, I finally won, so I can gloat a bit. I wrap my arms around his waist and hug him tightly. I feel him tense up a bit, but his arms move around my neck. And for the shortest moment, Sasuke hugs me back.